Sorry, you're probably tell you what the game starts. So I guess like stuff. So you know, for the Thomas thing. I don't know. Those are all yeah. So like there's some stuff. Yeah, he's positive. Communication. That's start you I just take it. Yes. Oh, that's pretty. Wow. What's your name? Hey, howdy, City. Howdy. Call this meeting to order at 7:08 p.m. on April 10th, 2019. We will start with opening remarks. For those of you running for chair positions tonight, please send your presentations before you're up to present to protemp.tamersenate@gmail.com. And then I had a few questions about confirmations in the email that I sent out to you guys last Wednesday. And so the three names I have on the agenda for confirmation next to the positions are the only three people we can consider tonight for confirmation. The other applications per the code have to be included to you guys, not just the ones that SP has selected for confirmation. And with that, we will go to opening roll call.
What? Out. Keep us doing. Keep on red. Keep on red. Senator Aiken. Howdy. Senator Ali. Senator Chada. Howdy. Senator Anderson. Howdy. Senator Bagu. Senator Bagu. Senator Banks. Howdy. Senator Berger.
Howdy.
Senator Black. Senator Black. Senator Cabrera.
Howdy.
Senator Carlson.
Howdy.
Senator Clegg. Senator Clegg. Senator Damon. Howdy. Senator Damon. Howdy. Senator DeGray. Senator DeGray. Senator Nicholas Demonteras. Senator Dowd.
Howdy.
Senator Feldman.
Howdy.
Senator Fisher. Senator Fisher. Senator Flores.
Howdy.
Senator Craig.
Howdy.
Senator Garcia. Senator Julia Garcia. Senator William Garcia. Senator Gay.
Howdy.
Senator George. Senator George. Senator Gliskin.
Howdy.
Senator Graham. Senator Gupta. Senator Gupta. Senator Hamlin. Senator Hardison. Senator Harris. Howdy. Senator Hunter. Howdy. Senator Jeffries. Howdy. Senator Cleveland. Senator Cleveland. Senator Cortez. Howdy. Senator Crow. Howdy. Senator Landry. Senator Landry. Senator Latrell. Howdy. Senator Mandel. Senator Rufo. Senator Martin. Howdy. Senator McHugh. Howdy. Senator McGill. Reagan McGill. Senator Reed McGill. Howdy. Senator McQueen. Howdy. Senator Joseph.
Howdy.
Senator Montez. Howdy. Senator Morgan. Howdy. Senator Murphy. Howdy. Senator Newman. Howdy. Senator Noyola. Senator Noyola. Senator Pauls. Howdy. Senator Pena. Howdy. Senator Pena. Senator Pena. Senator Pett. Senator Pett. Senator Price. Howdy. Senator Ramirez. Howdy. Senator Rubioso. Senator Rubioso. Senator Resendez. Howdy. Senator Rivera. Senator Rodriguez. Ryan Rodriguez.
Howdy.
Senator Clarissa Rodriguez. Howdy. Senator Rowland. Howdy. Senator Ruggles. Senator Smith.
Howdy.
Senator Gunning Smith.
Howdy.
Senator Solis. Senator Spur. Howdy. Senator Thompson. Senator Tran.
Howdy.
Senator Crossclair.
Howdy.
Senator Tolson. Howdy. Senator Ulick. Howdy. Senator Walter.
Howdy.
Senator Wheeler. Howdy. Senator Wood. Howdy.
Thank you. We will now move into a period of invocation and pledge of allegiance led by Senator Rodriguez. If you'll please rise.
I'm going to reflect the way I feel most comfortable, so I do the same. You all please fire it. Dear Heavenly Father, we give you thanks for giving us another day. Bless abundantly the senators of the 77th session and our executive and judicial branch counterparts. During the season of new growth, may your redemptive power help us to see new ways to be productive in service, have fresh approaches, and to understand each other, as well as renew our commitment to solving the problems we face in and outside of our institution's walls. We ask that you guide us as we continue to select our peers who will lead our legislative body to the upcoming school year. May we all be transformed by your grace and better reflect the sense of wonder, even joy, at the opportunity to serve that are ever before us. May all that is done this day be for your great honor and glory. Amen. You all please join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state under God, one indivisible.
We will now move into the reading of the mission statement and the Aggie Honor Code, led by Senator Wolf.
Howdy.
Howdy.
The Texas A&M University Student Senate represents all students in order to enhance the Texas A&M experience within our university and communities through research, legislation, and advocacy in accordance with the core values of our institution. And Agnes Lai, Chief Steele, Audit.
We will now move into a period of the playing of the Spirit of Aggie.
God's I will illuminate it all the
Please be seated. At this time, if there's any senators who have not been sworn into the 72nd session yet, please come to the floor. Please rise. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I,
Ryan
Christopher
Dawson, do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to faithfully execute to the best of my ability
to faithfully execute to the best of my ability
the duties of the office of student senator
the duties of the office of student senator
for the Texas A&M Student Government Association.
for the Texas A&M Student Government Association.
Will hold the honor of the same
To hold the honor of the same
at all times to promote the welfare of the student body
at all times to promote the welfare of the student body
and to promote good relations between the students
and to promote good relations between the students
and those concerned with the university.
and those concerned with the university.
At this time, we'll enter a period of open forum. Please sit. We will start with Reagan Miguel representing Coles Council.
Howdy, Senate. I'm Reagan McGill, College of Agricultural Sciences Student Council, and I'm here today to talk about the Super Cooper 5K which is happening on April 28th, the Sunday. Cooper died last December. He was an 8-year-old boy. His mother and his father both worked for the university system. His dream was to go to Texas A&M, be at the core, and to be the most red-ass athlete. So this 5K that we're having on the 28th, all the scholarships. All the funds from the 5K will go to the scholarship fund that will go to any famous student in the College of Agricultural Sciences. Just come out and support old future athletes who never were. So thank you all.
Are there any questions for the presenter? Senator Rodriguez.
Life Science Project. Can you just share information where we can register for Super Project?
Yes, so there's a Facebook page, Super Cooper 5K, super easy. If you can't spell it, I'm over there. So it's just on there. I think it's like $15 registration. You can either run the 5K, watch the 5K on live stream, or just show up with your t-shirt. So
Any other questions?
thank you.
Seeing none, thank you. We will now recognize Jackson Sorrell from One Army. Your 5 minutes starting now.
Howdy.
Howdy.
My name is Jackson Swell. I'm here on behalf of the men's service organization here at A&M called One Army. And I'm here to tell you about our annual philanthropy event, Gladiator Dash. Gladiator Dash is the largest mud run in Central Texas that is put on 100% by students here at Texas A&M University. This year we'll be featuring about 16 obstacles, and they will be going like varying all different types. You'll be swimming through the lake, you'll be going over a summit, you'll be calling through mud. And the most important thing with these obstacles is that they're all completely challenged by choice. So if you come to an obstacle that you don't feel comfortable going over, you by no means have to. These obstacles also will have an easy and a hard section. So for example, balance beam will have a rope that you can grab on to help you on one side, and the other will not. At the end of the day, we do this because we want to benefit Still Creek Ranch, which is a home for kids that are both in crisis and abuse situations. We not only provide mentorship for these kids, we provide a positive role model that they can look up to, that they can see in their lives and have something to cling on to. In fact, my first memory in One Army this last semester was whenever a kid came up to me and told me that because of Still Creek, he actually ended up going to A&M, and he thanked me for what we had done for him. So this philanthropy event isn't just something that we put on just to kind of have fun. It's something that we put on because Still Creek Ranch runs 100% on donations. And we try to do the best we can to help the kids because they are incredible and they deserve everything in the world. You can register at www.gladiator-.com. There you'll be also able to see our hype video. You can see people run, why we do it, all our sponsors, and find everything like about this. This we're also doing a give back program. This give back program is separated into 4 different categories, and you look and match up what organization you would sign up under in a category, write the name, and if that organization has the most signups, you're gonna get back $1,000. That $1,000 can be used for whatever y'all like, and it's just kind of our way of saying thank you for helping us help so great. Any questions?
Senator Cabrera.
Senator Cabrera, from the Procedural Art Focus, do you mind telling me at what time will this event occur and what will be the most will it cost to register?
Yes, sir. So it will occur from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. in 15-minute heat waves, including a competitive heat, non-competitive heat, and an endurance race. And it will cost $25. With that $25, you will get a T-shirt. There will be live music there. There will be food vendors there, my taco, and the wall station. All the kids will be out running and supporting y'all. And then if you're to register at MSC or Savisa tomorrow at the banners, we'll give you a shirt from last year as well.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the presenter? Seeing none, thank you. Okay, we will now proceed into a period of elections for finance chair. Are there any nominations? Senator
Senator McQueen, off campus, I nominate Senator Harris.
Senator Harris. Seeing multiple seconds. Senator Harris, do you accept?
I do.
Do you have any further nominations? Senator Heller. Seeing multiple seconds. Senator Crowe, do you accept this nomination? Do we have any further nominations? Seeing none, the period of nominations for finance chair is now closed. If Senator Harris and Senator Crowe would please get their character witness. Since Senator Crowe will step outside first for the character witness, Senator Harris will be up first. Did you send a presentation?
Yes.
This one is right there. As a reminder, for a contested race, it will be 10 minutes presentation. You have 5 minutes for a character witness optional, and then you have 5 minutes of question and answer after that. That can all be extended as well, depending on the body.
Howdy, Senate. So I get started. My name is Bubba Harris. I am from the off-campus caucus, and I'm ready today to be the finance chair for the 72nd session. Awesome. Go ahead, next slide. So a little bit about me. I am from the college of Ag. I'm an agricultural economics major, and here. I have a focus on policy and economic analysis. You will sit here. I'm from Island Park, Texas, which is a small town about 5 minutes south of Oklahoma, right outside Wichita Falls. If you don't know where that is, you got to say Texas right here. I'm way the heck up here. So long list of them down here. And fun fact about me, I got 2 of them up there. I love dad jokes. Find any time I'm calling at a handle in my back pocket, just ask, I'm back to make you laugh. And little PS, I get my ag degree in 2 days. Next slide. So my major is very misunderstood. A lot of people think ag economics is just a bunch of down math, 1 chicken, 2 chicken. So to help you guys understand what it is that I actually go to class for, I've thrown in a little question for you guys. So does anyone in here know why farmers freeze their money? Anybody? Go ahead, next slide, we can see the answer to that. So farmers freeze their money because they prefer cold, hard cash. There we go. That's what I'm like. That's the response I give to most of my jokes. I appreciate the laughs. Go ahead, next slide. So a little bit about my involvement in education around campus. I was a senator this past session during the 71st session, and I'm a senator on the off-campus caucus for the 72nd. I've been an off-campus senator for both of those sessions. I'm a class council member for the class of 2020. Not to mention that I was also a class council member that was against removing sewing from elephant walk. I remember AES, which is the Ag Econ Society, and I'm also a member of the Texas A&M Quiz Bowl team. Go ahead, next slide. So for those of you guys who may not understand or know what the finance chair does, I put the responsibilities up here. So it said the finance chair is responsible for overseeing the rates and allocation of tuition and student fees at Texas A&M University. Donations made to any entity of the Student Government Association and any other funds sought by or provided to any entity of Texas Student Government Association. The finance chair is also responsible for overseeing the allocation of student government funds and information of the annual Student Government Association budget. So, big takeaways from this slide right here is two things. The main job for the finance chair for student government, the biggest part of it, one of the biggest parts, is allocation of funds. So each year, Texas A&M student government receives $50,000 that has to be allocated throughout the entire Student Government Association grant, all of the branches of student government. And so that's the main big part that finance chair takes on. And as you see when I talk through my goals later, I've really honed in on that process and hope to make a positive difference there. Next slide. So a little bit about my experience. I am a previous Texas state vice president, and I served on the board of directors. Two of my teammates are in the room. And as I served on the board of directors, I served on the Strategic Monetary Planning Committee, which you can see my view from the board table right there at the bottom. A little bit else about my major coursework that relates directly to this financial area. I've taken numerous accounting classes, numerous classes in finance, and I've also taken a handful of classes that primarily focus on budget management and development. I've also conducted through my coursework numerous budgetary analysis and studies on those budgets. Next slide. So as I hope to take on this position, I have set out a few goals. I spoke with our previous chair, Senator Walker, and I plan to pick up directly where he left off. He was very proud of the work he did, and he mentioned that they had no appeals for his time as chair, and I hope to carry on that tradition. For those of you who don't know, during the allocation process, the finance committee listens to presentations from the branches of student government and allocates those funds to them. And if the organization or branch of student government feels that they were treated unfairly during that process, they have the option to appeal. And like I stated, we had no appeals last year, and so one of my goals is obviously to have no appeals this year because everyone wants to feel like they're treated fairly. And also along with that, allocating that money fairly and equally, but also retaining that money to maintain an emergency fund in case any extra allocations are needed. I want to establish a clear line of communication from the finance committee to all providers across SBA. That way it's not just that we're the person who's cutting the budget or the one who's not giving them all the money they ask for. I hope to establish clear lines of communication so they can understand why some cuts were made and how we can help them adjust to those to fit into our allocation. I want to be transparent and I want to be efficient with the allocation process. Like I said, I feel like that's the only way that you can go through this type of process without having any appeals, to be completely transparent and be efficient in the way you do this. Usually this is a very long process. I believe when I was talking to the previous chair, he said that they got it done in 2 weeks, which is a lot shorter than he said that the previous committee got it done on. And so I would shoot for something as efficient as that, maybe faster, but still making it fair and reasonable. And then lastly, one thing when I was talking to him, he said that the biggest problem he faced, the biggest challenge he faced to share was getting other senators involved and active on the finance committee. I personally am willing to take up this task of trying to get more of you guys involved in this committee, see where the money that's getting to us is going, and see what kind of differences it's making. So those are my goals as finance chair. And next slide, please. With that, I'd like to introduce my character witness, Mr. John Ryan Rodriguez from the ad hoc.
You'll have 5 minutes. Or 5 minutes.
How do you say?
Howdy.
I'm gonna ask someone to close your eyes. I promise it's gonna be too bad. Don't close it. Just middle, five. Okay. It just really reflects on the words I'm about to tell you. It's something that Father and I have said over the years, and it really holds dear to our heart. All my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and the country. To obey the scout law. To help other people at all times. To keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. The scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. Now ask yourself if you find yourself in any of those values. Now open your eyes. Those are all things Brother and I have said before without even knowing each other. That's because both of us were a part of a program called Boy Scouts of America, now called Scouts BSA. But before I met Bubba, and before we said those things, his reputation definitely preceded him. Bubba mentioned that he's from the northern part of the state, a little place in Iowa Park, Texas. He mentioned up in the Red River area. For me, I grew up in South Texas, hundreds of miles away from him, but yet I still heard about him and everything he had accomplished. Bubba's very humble in the sense he won't tell you what he's accomplished in his 20 years of life that I know I hope to accomplish in my entire lifetime. I heard quantitative stuff such as Eagle Scout, Mountaintorian, he had his first one at PCP, pilot's license, Freemason, he likes to build buses in his free time and drive his friends around there. You can ask any of his passive basic officer friends about it. And last but not least, Bubba Harris, one of his quantitative traits is a matter of qualitative traits that he has. A lot of people were talking about these quantitative traits, but nothing about the qualitative traits. And as soon as I met Bubba, I was intimidated by him, just by the quantitative stuff. But as soon as I met his character, kind of person he was, the smile that he was giving just for being a person in the room, I knew this is the person I wanted to be good friends with for the rest of my life. He showed me what unwavering support is, what dedication, commitment, and diligence means in whatever work passes today this way. And above all else, he really showed me what support truly means by just simply knowing the person. To this day, I consider Bubba a tremendous friend. He's someone to hold those values of Mr. Early. Being trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, forever. And for that, I really highly encourage every single senator in this room to extremely consider Bubba Harris the next chair position for this upcoming legislative session. With that, you have time to report.
Thank you. We will now move into a period of question and answer for 5 minutes, starting with Chair Senator Banks.
So I guess I can't speak for the current pro temp, but as a former pro temp, I know that you've been running a little bit low on funds for new votes or anything like that. So would you be open to considering the process of hearings a little bit more allocation for the consent process? Could you expand on that? Yeah, absolutely. So we're actually currently completely out on that conference, and envelopes are kind of assuming cost of the money, we just got out of letter and things like that. So if the program were to make a case forward, and also coming up actually is the 75th and 100th anniversary of the Senate, which also is going to be asking about in order to do that. So given all these various factors, would you be willing to consider having the Senate allocation? Well, when it comes to the allocation process, like I said, I want it to be fair and reasonable. And so when the Senate or SBA, when the student Senate makes a presentation to the Finance Committee, we'll take everything into consideration that's put in their proposal, and we'll take that into consideration with all the other organizations and see how the funds shake out, what are the process, what other organizations are asking for. If there's room in the allocation for those changes to be made fairly and reasonably without favoring student Senate, because the money's not just student Senate, it's all of SGAs. And so with that, if those proposals are made from the student Senate and it's able and we're able to do that fairly and reasonably, then yes, I would be open to making those adjustments.
Senator Cabrera.
What would be your main goal that you're aspiring to get?
Yeah, for sure. So my main goal would be those that I previously stated, but I would primarily focus on the allocation resource, making sure that the money that's given to SBA is spread evenly, maybe not evenly, but fairly and reasonably throughout what is asked for from the committee. Because I feel like that's the most important part of this chair position is making sure that the funds that we're given are dispersed responsibly.
Okay.
Senator McGill.
How would you say that your curriculum and classes that you've taken have shaped what kind of chair?
So one thing about being from the College of Ag is not only has my coursework provided me an education on how to develop business budgets and how to develop functioning budgets, also it's taught me how to manage money, but most importantly, when you come from the College of Ag, every class you take, you hear something about leadership, you hear something about caring for people, and you hear something about making a difference in the world. Because that's what agriculture does. So one thing that my coursework, especially being from the College of Ag, has prepared me for, not only in those skills that are needed to develop a budget and are needed to allocate fairly, but also they've given me the skills to be a caring leader who cares about the changes that we're making.
Senator Walter.
Senator Walter, next caucus. What was the biggest takeaway from our conversation tonight?
So my biggest takeaway personally was really the fact that for when you said you had problems or challenges, the biggest challenge was that of getting other senators involved. The reason I'd say that was a takeaway is because I need to try to understand it. Not that you did anything wrong, but couldn't understand why other senators wouldn't be interested. Personally, I'm a big money guy, and I feel like honestly, that's my major. That's what makes the world go round is money. So if for the committee that allocates to all of SBA, I was just astonished that more senators weren't chomping at the bit to see where that money was going.
With 1 minute remaining, Senator Banks.
Is that okay? Yeah. So, John, here's got the girl that was walking across the quad and got hit with a can of soda. It's all right. She's okay. It was a soft drink.
Are there any further questions? Are there any further questions for the presenter? Seeing none, your question and answer is now ended. Thank you. If you need to care to witness, step outside. Like one minute left. Okay. Yeah.
Howdy, my name is Virginia Krebs.
Howdy.
And I am the Healthcare Finance Chair for the study session. Okay, so a little bit about me. I'm a second generation Aggie from Dallas, Texas. Yay, Dallas or Houston. I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm part of the class of 22, and I'm the loudest and proudest member. A. Thanks, I see you. Okay, so I am business honors and finance double major. Finance is super important to me. I got really interested in this really young. I actually have my own investment portfolio. So it's something I really follow. It's super interesting to me. I've always been very interested in. Here at Texas A&M, outside of the SBA, I am involved in the big events, which I'm sure you're all familiar with. I'm also in the sport academic data. It's wonderful. And I just recently joined the Aggie Investment Club, so excited to be part of that. As I kind of mentioned, investing is always a huge interest of mine. So that's like finance side. Okay, so some of my hobbies. I'm a huge fan of traveling. I definitely want to see the world. And secondly, who here has ever seen the TV show Friends? Yes, Friends is the best. Love it, absolutely love it. I like rewatching it right now. It's awesome. Okay. Okay. So some of my relevant experience. At SGA, I am one of the Mays Business School Senators. So kind of right there in the Mays Business School. I've had a lot of exposure to content that this job will be a part of. I was on the Legislative Affairs Committee. I am now in the Finance. And for the 71st session, I was first on the Legislative Affairs Committee and then on the Finance Committee underneath Matt Walter. So I had advanced Excel in class. Learned a lot about that. As I was talking with Matt about this job in Excel, it was one of the things we talked about was being able to do Excel, so I was definitely able to do that. Also, I have finance and accounting experience. Already had my accounting classes, finance and in the fall. So stoked for that. It's gonna be great. So I just put a lot of the class items as well. Thank you. Okay. So, if I was to be a lecture chair, finance chair, so my position for this would be just following up on what Calvin did last year. He did a really great job talking to some members on that committee. Really good one. Ran really well. So just really building off of that. One of the things I'm going to be trying to do is have some very transparent expectations both with my committee members and with everyone else that we work with, including the Senate. Also being really transparent in hearings. Part of this process is having hearings with the SGA committees. Just being really upfront with them about what the expectations are and being transparent with them about the process. Also, so kind of mentioned this, really interested in investment. Really learned a lot about financial security for that and being smart in your investments. And so part of this is we need a lot of money to the separate committees in SGA. We are investing in them and giving them money, and part of that, one of the things I've learned is that you have to have money in there. You can't put it all out there. So in case there's selective allocations or mistakes, just being really smart about and being prepared for that. So we're having some reserve allocations for financial security. And then also fairness for funding. The big event is SGA committee, just because it's near to my heart. It's not really getting the lion's portion of the funding. Everything will be handled really upfront and with as part of transparency, just having fair for every SGA committee that comes up. Okay, some of the goals, some of the things that I kind of want to improve upon for this year. Increase communication with the SGA committees, just really things that are out there, and in particular the finance committee, having constant communication with them to make the process so much easier for everybody involved. So just really improving our communication with them. Also, for this committee, one of my goals is to increase our advocating for funding. So our superiors had a lot of Senate money to them to try and give the committees, just appealing to them to try to take more money so that we can further invest in our committees and allow them to do even bigger and greater things. Also, to provide any potential committee members with like a really great experience, wanting it to be fun because this is college, it should be awesome, but also a really important experience. So if you're interested in joining, want to learn more about like money management and finance just in general, really find the experience of that. Okay. Thanks and good job. For questions.
First Q&A, who's your character?
Oh, okay, yes. I'm going to introduce my character with this, was reading a 7 years racial plateau. We've already heard some of the great qualities that came out during the last meeting. But in addition to her being open-minded and collaborative, mature and responsible, she obviously has a lot of experience with finance, with money management, with budgeting, which are all necessary competencies for the finance chair. But most importantly, I think because as GM committees, we need money in order to be able to do what we're supposed to do. The oversight is to be led by a very competent leader who works with the finance committee and works with other chairs that we can make sure that they get the funding that they need. And I think Virginia especially has the ability to lead in such a way that will make sure all of that happens in the correct way. So go for Virginia.
We'll now move into a period of 5-minute question and answer. Do we have any questions for the presenter? Senator Muriel.
Yes, let me review that. Especially on the Matt Walker, that was one thing we were talking about. There are maybe some improvements we can make to our allocations of money. Like some of them no longer need like certain aspects of the work in finance for, like making sure that they no longer need. We won't be doing anymore, so then that money can be reallocated. But it's kind of been told for a while now, and I really want to be instrumental in making sure providing for their allocation of money. That's for us to give to them. Like that's a real need, that's a real opportunity that we can really get out there and our case more.
Which is him. Senator Banks.
Senator Banks off campus. So before we get into some conversations with Mark and Chair Walker got an increase in funding, like you said, from University for SGA. So hey, you actually spoke with him about what that's looking like right now. And what are your plans about actually doing that?
For sure. So I talked to Walter about what that has looked like in the past. Really, take the money out of that. Now, it's only looking further into it, but I feel like I have a fair understanding of what's going on. I feel like it's really important to advancing our request for this, just developing those relationships, really taking the time to show them like why and where we need extra money and like why we deserve it and what the amazing things that we can do with it. So just really developing our relationships and showing them what we can do with it.
With 3 minutes remaining, Senator Spur.
So this for college as well. One of the things we talked about in the vision is having transparent expectations and we want to collaborate on like what we plan or what we plan on doing with like how to. Yes, I really think that telling them what I'm doing, giving them updates on like the communities I've been talking to, like they'll definitely be there for some of that, like they're required to be there for the hearings, but really having like constant communication with them outside of just that, keeping them in the loop, letting them know what's happening. But I would also apply to the Senate and PR as a whole, just with providing more like in-depth, just like reports of what we're up to, maybe explaining somewhat more to y'all what we do, because I know that some of this, it's just not like their interest, it's not really something we've looked into before, so like maybe like hearings and allocations are just terms that are like going over their heads and like thought about before. So just really explain to them more what that entails.
With 2.5 minutes remaining, Senator Euler.
Senator Euler, off-campus topic. You mentioned having misallocations of money. Do you think that would be mistakes that you would make, or like other people would make, and there are things that come from? Not necessarily mistakes, but like missed opportunities. So like maybe they forgot to put in a request of analyst student for like GLC and the trip to Dallas as part of their memory of the specific Gilbert that they're dedicated to. The past are really unfortunately, but part of that trip, but like maybe there was a mistake on their side, so it proved they left out a part. So we like look at that message.
Do I see a motion? Let's pause real quick. Seeing multiple seconds. Motion to extend the period of question and answer by 2 minutes. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. Please continue.
So just to finish on that,
Senator Walton.
Senator Walter, what was your biggest takeaway with our conversation?
That there has been an excellent job done in the past, but there's even further improvements that can be made. Like, this is a self position and a unique opportunity to grow. Position that I think I'm uniquely qualified to fill and I have a real passion for. That there's all things I can bring to the table to take it even further for us. Something that was really, I was really taken away, not only from our talk, but from talking to other members of the committee, was the need for increased transparency and communication, which have all been done well in the past. Not saying it wasn't, but that there was some on. So the fact that this is excellent, Hannah would be so honored to carry on this role.
Senator Jeffries.
Very Jeffers, College of Engineering. When was the last time you created a budget? And what was that process like for you?
Absolutely. I actually created a budget over Christmas break. Something that I do is I actually make it sound a little bit technique, but I actually record all the my own financial costs. So like I actually just everything and record my own money. And so part of that was I've been making a budget for my own in college living, as I have my own credit card now and I have like a budget in December, so I actually allocate my monthly expenses and I have a monthly budget. So I did that as recently as Christmas break and spring break.
Senator McGill.
So we built all of that in my sciences. So our class meeting, we really showed you passion was cool for you. How do we know you're willing to take effort and passion into the finance chair? Absolutely. I have a passion for rules and regulations that really comes from my my natural strength of attention to detail. And I think that that's something that would actually lead to carry over to this. I've always been that person that reads the syllabus to find that one gimmick that allows them to like the concept to try and get points or something. But so that's what's been kind of a passion for me, but even more than that, it's also kind of fun to other people, but money as a whole is like super fascinating to me. Like played life when I was little. Having this for 2 years now on my own. So I feel like if anything, even more than the passion that I already have for rules and regulations, I have an incredible passion for this position. So if anything, better to for this one.
With 30 seconds remaining, do we have any further questions for the presenter? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Diego.
Good. As a reminder, during debate, we will not use the candidates' names. We will say candidate 1, candidate 2. We will only be debating for candidates, not against candidates. It will be 3 rounds of 5 minutes debate, and so you have 2.5 minutes for candidate 1, 2.5 minutes for candidate 2, and so on and so forth. It can be extended after the 3rd round, or 15 minutes. So we will begin with 2.5 minutes for candidate 1. Do we have any debate for candidate 1? Okay, seeing no debate for candidate 1, the debate is one-sided, and the period of debate now closes. Okay, we will now move into a period of voting for the finance chair. Um, Please put the candidate number as well as their name on it, your caucus, and sign it, or else it will not be counted. We will collect information. Give a motion. Go ahead. Senator Banks. Seeing multiple seconds, a motion to vote by ballot is not debatable, and so we will vote by ballot. Thank you. Right. That's sorry. That was the original. No, you're fine. It's fine.
Hey guys, if you did not get a ballot, please raise your hand. Thank you.
Oh, it's to. Right. Are there any more ballots that you have not turned in yet? Any more ballots? No. Okay. In a vote of 48-6, Senator Harris is your new Finance Committee Chair. Please rise. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Paul Harris,
Do solemnly swear
do faithfully execute
to the best of my ability
faithfully execute to the best of my ability
the duties of the office of Finance Chair
the duties of the office of Finance Chair
for the Texas A&M Student Government Association,
for the Texas A&M Student Government Association,
to uphold the honor of the same
to uphold the honor of the same
at all times to protect the welfare of the student body
at all times to protect the welfare of the student body
and to promote good relations between the students
and to promote good relations between the students
and those concerned with the university.
and those concerned with the university.
Please be seated. We will now enter a period of election for the Constituency Affairs Chair. Do I have any nominations? Seeing none, the period of nominations for Constituency Affairs Chairs has now closed. We will now move into a period of nominations for the election of the Academic Affairs Chair. Do I have any nominations? Seeing Senator Martin. Seeing a second, Senator Banks to accept the nomination. Do you have any further nominations for Academic Affairs Chair? Senator Harris.
I nominate Senator Murphy.
Senator Miguel.
I nominate Senator Murphy.
Senator Murphy, do you accept the nomination?
I do.
Do you have any further nominations? Seeing none, the period of nominations has now closed. Senator Banks, you will go first as you were nominated first. Senator Murphy, if you and your character units will please step outside.
deadline.
Oh, okay, sure. You got you. Send that.
Yeah, that's for later. I have an actual presentation. Okay. My name is Dave Banks. I'm a computer science major from Oakland, Oklahoma. More importantly, I'm the loudest and proud member of the Fun Tech Site Class 2020. Hey! And I am here to represent the position back into the affairs chair. Next slide, please. Well, for anyone who found me at this point, but one new fact I'd like to share with you all is that I have read all 5 of the Game of Thrones books. Fun fact, they are longer than the Bible and Lord of the Rings combined. Anyway, bit of a nerd fact for the academic affairs. Next slide, please. So, just a little bit to recap what I've done outside Senate. I was on the executive board of the Residential Housing Association. I was president of my dorm homes. I served on the University Curriculum Committee, and I was a living peer mentor for engineering and expression. Currently, I serve on the University Disciplinary Appeals Panel, which appeals disciplinary sanctions placed by the university on different students for various reasons. I am a Creighton Galen Brown Foundation Scholar, and I'm currently also a member of the Engineering Honors Committee. So, what I've done in the Senate, I have served in the 70, 71st, and now 72nd sessions. During the 70th session, I was academic affairs chair, position I'm running to fill again. During the 71st session, I served as Speaker Pro Tempore, which is the second most position in the Senate from the Ohio fantastic Conor Golden, where he's gone. And I have authored, co-authored, and or sponsored 40 pieces of legislation, which I believe is a record of any Bernie state senator. I have extensive work on Student Rule 7. Student Rule 7 is probably new, is the rule change that was just passed this past Monday, actually. Woo! That was, yes, it allows students to have university student absences to go have job interviews and grad school interviews. This is something that the faculty senate fought us on for 3 years, but we finally got it through. And that was a big victory for academic affairs. I wrote the bill that created the University Inclusion Committee that we have now. I wrote a bill for priority registration for veterans. So as y'all know, honor students and student workers actually get registration time slots for the rest of the student body. And I wrote a bill that would allow us to advocate for student veterans, people who serve in the military, and also get that. I have worked extensively with Provost Yerke, who is the top university gal for academic affairs. Vice President Coleman, who is the university's diversity and inclusion vice president, and Vice President Oakland, who is legislative relations. I had all 3 of them actually agree to come in and speak to Senate. Hopefully, Vice President Coleman will be able to come up next semester. And I have a great relationship with Provost Yerke and some of the folks in their office that will really allow me to work on academic affairs stuff. And finally, I also was opposed to the removal of the solely elephant box stuff that I believe our new finance chair. So, what are my goals as academic affairs chair? Well, back when I was academic affairs chair in the 70s, our main goal was Student Rule 7, and that was basically all we worked on the entire year. But now that Student Rule 7 is passed, we really got to reach out and really got to work on other things. So, the number one thing I want to work on is the relationship between the Senate academic affairs chair and the exec side academic affairs vice president. Being curious, I just got a study group meeting. So I know back when we go to well, we would always talk about this human holders. And so often, Jacob Powell, my successor, the academic affairs chair, he would always talk about what he's working on right now. And sometimes I would bring that up with Michael and be like, oh, I hadn't heard about that. And I think we really need those effective, strong communication channels between exec and Senate so we can really work up. So several of the plans that I had to strengthen that was to actually invite the vice president of academic affairs to each of my academic affairs committee meetings, just to make sure that they're kept in the loop. In addition, I would ask them if I could be invited to their academic affairs commission meetings, so we could just always keep each other neutral about it. There are a lot of other ways we can work all together, just making sure to schedule our meetings, make sure we're always on the same page. I had a great relationship with the AA vice president when I was chair of the Oaks, and I look forward to continuing that with whoever my team has up before I can. So, the big thing, could you go to that other link that I sent you, please? So the big thing
thing coming out of administration right now is the Student Success Initiative. This is a study that was done for like a year this past semester, and we've seen that. And this is like the big #1 initiative being pushed by the university for academic affairs right now. And it has four main pillars. It has changing of the requirements for the Century Scholarship. It has a centralized portal for all academic advising. It has a help desk for graduation, and it has a requirement that all freshmen be put in a freshman learning experience. Freshman learning experience being like kind of like a small group, like a mini class all freshmen have to take just to get them used to college. And all four of these things are things that are going to be implemented in this coming year. And the university, actively seeking student feedback on this. The student learning experience thing, they're actually going to be doing a trial run specifically because they want a lot of input on that. So my main goal as academic affairs chair would be every step of the way making sure that this body, therefore the voice of the students, is giving as much feedback on these initiatives as we can. I'll have a lot more information on that, like specifics. I talk a lot more about that with Provost Yerby, but there are a lot of different steps I'm really excited to take with making sure that students have a voice on what steps are being taken by administration. Another one, if you go back to the presentation, please. Another big thing that I want to work on is open access to resources. Open access to resources are educational resources like textbooks that students don't have to pay for. There's a really big push from a lot of places like that. Yeah, it's great. A lot of big push from a lot of different places, including the legislature right now, for resources that students have for free. They know already. And importantly, the upcoming speaker of the faculty senate is the point person who's been leading this entire initiative. So that's a point where I'm really excited to actually work with the faculty senate on, and hopefully we can build great relationships and have a lot of good collaboration. I also want to build relationships with faculty, faculty senate, administrators, and whatnot. Like I already pointed out, I think we can really build bridges with the faculty senate, considering they're the ones who passed Student Rule 7. I think that's a really good jumping off point for us to improve our relationship with them going forward. Context, they're the ones who shut down Student Rule 7 plus 2 years before that. As I said, I already have a great relationship with Provost Yerby and Dr. Network, who's your assistant provost. And I look forward to actually growing not only my own relationship with them, but those of my entire committee in this body. I intend to have both of them come and speak before all the Senate during my time as AHR. And I would also like to have at least one academic affairs committee meeting with one or both of them actually there, so that all of the committee members can actually have the space time with these very important administrators. And finally, the travel abroad office is actually redone the way that they're making their safety ratings for various countries. I just want to make sure that students have a voice in how the study abroad office is changing their law. And with that, next slide, please. That bringing my character witness Matthew Walter, also class of 2020, who served as the finance chair for the 71st century.
You have 5 minutes, sir.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm going to say pretty well. Working for the past year, and I guess there's 3 reasons why I think it's job 1. Most importantly, he's already done the job. He already knows what the job takes. He's already got a perspective. He's got experience, and he would do great just because he's already had the job. He's already succeeded in the job. 2, I would say he's working Student Rule 7. I had a personal stake in Student Rule 7 with my personal experience with trying to interview for a job in the middle of class 9. And so I went as much as many of those meetings possible. It was very interesting one of them, even though his own job had very little to do with that outside of just generally improving the student body. So he showed real initiative and real dedication to something that was academic affairs related, but not necessarily related to his own position at the time. And I felt like it showed that he has a real passion for this particular area. And third, I would say initiative. I've seen him really throw himself into any job that he thinks would help the student body and help this body run more effectively, more efficiently. And so he already did a ton of research into what he wants to improve about it, moving forward past the Student Rule 7. And I think that just the combination of those 3 factors, experience, his willingness to be really interested about topics relevant to AA, goals related to AA, and the fact that he's a really initiative group for this guy, basically making perfect his job. I talked too long, but there's not that much to say other than go for it.
Questions?
We'll now move into a period of question and answer for 5 minutes, starting with Senator Fisher.
Senator Fisher, for Chet's office, can you elaborate a little more about how you see students essentially get more involved with the travel abroad office?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So this is actually something I did some research on with my successor, David Howe, during the study session. But essentially what they did was they used to go off of the national security record. So if the State Department says this place is kind of iffy to travel to, they would say that. They actually brought in an independent guy to just do a complete overhaul and look at the safety procedures they now have in place. And now they do their own safety records. And that's something that I want to make sure that students have a lot of understanding of. Because I think that a lot of the problems that face academic affairs in Texas A&M is that things aren't communicated well between the admin and the students, and that goes both ways, right? Like some of the administrative decisions they make, we don't know why they do that because they don't, really communicate that with us. I mean, a lot of the time our complaints don't reach them. So I think that just going and having conversations with the custodian of our office to make sure we fully get the reason why we make this country that a lot of people are interested in doesn't have a high safety rating. Is one way you can do that and help explain it to all the interested parties, and also to get the feedback. So Jacob Powell, his original reason he came to me during the 70s was that he was concerned about safety ratings for specifically Israel. So if students have problems with the safety rating in one particular country, then we can bring those complaints up to them and help maybe facilitate some change, at least some discussion on that.
With 4 minutes remaining, Senator Newman.
Senator Newman, apologies back a little bit last time in this office. You mentioned that you were previously AA chair. Why are you running for this again?
Yeah, absolutely. So I ran for speaker, and I didn't get that. But the reason I was academic affairs chair originally was because it's really the point I think that students don't have as much voice, right? We had been students, Student Senate has been advocating for the student seven changes for 3 years before that made school thing. University student absences for interviews got through, right? I really think this is a place where we need to establish our voice and have more to say in what goes on with the administration. And that's, I think, through my track record of building relationships with people like Procedural and whatnot, I can really have a big impact. Thank you.
With 2.5 minutes remaining, Senator Cabrera.
What would you say the most difficult challenge in completing any of the goals last year? How will you do to solve it?
Absolutely. So I think that probably I wouldn't want to rank any of them based on difficulty, but probably the most significant is the student success initiative, because like I said, that is the primary focus of the university right now as far as the academic affairs initiative. So I think that just making sure that as many people as we can have a voice about that or knowledgeable about that and engage with that conversation is probably going to be the biggest one. I mentioned that there are 4 pillars for that student success initiative, and over this coming session, I want each of those 4 pillars to have something that comes through this body that says either we're in favor of this pillar or we don't like this pillar, right? So that way, that's at least one way that the voice of the student body can have a say in what is actually going on. Okay.
With 2 minutes remaining, Senator Morgan.
During your running for speaker, you mentioned that you would support having the students at the table to changes to the would you still support that and work to implement that policy?
Absolutely. So academic affairs, I believe, has the closest connection with faculty senate and the other university committees based around that system. So I believe that with all the chair positions, academic affairs is the right one to help build a relationship and help try to make an actual channel between ourselves and the faculty senate so that we can have a voice and rules that govern our education. Thank you. And as I mentioned, the upcoming faculty senate speaker is very sympathetic to issues that we like, which is a really good sign.
With 1 minute remaining, Senator Murphy.
So, you're already in this position again. Like, is there a way that you know that you're going to qualify for this position and it's not just you wanting a position of power in the student senate? It seems like you've already been in this position and then a position of senate. So, like, are you going to qualify for this position or are you just letting me?
Well, yeah, I've done the position. I've done it pretty successfully. My main thing that I worked on was Student 07, and Student 07 has been changed. So, I mean, look at someone's qualifications, what somebody's actually done. There you go. That's my track record. And I would like to point out, I only have the
concludes the period of question and answer. Thank you. Can you protect your witness, please step up? Thank you. Yes, that's fine. All right. You have 2 minutes to
All right, howdy.
Howdy.
My name is Brock Murphy, and I'm a sophomore agricultural economics student. Next slide. So my hometown is Cape Girardeau, Missouri, but I was born in Plano, Texas, so I like to say that I am Texan. Some fun facts about me: first generation Aggie. I started a long-term cattle operation when I was 13 years old, and sold that when I got dang here to Texas A&M. And then I have a puppy, I named her Aggie, and Aggie likes to fall in love, as you can see in that top picture. Gave her a long-term toy, so hard to get that. But my favorite quote is, "The best is yet to come." And I would think that the people in the room that know me best would probably say that I like to bring a positive spin on different things that are happening. So I would like to bring that to the academic affairs committee if elected. Next slide. So campus involvement that I've got. I'm on Coles Council. I serve on the finance committee. I was also selected as an Aggie grad, which is kind of like which is the ambassador program in the Department of Agricultural Economics. I'm also a teaching assistant for a professor in the department. Next slide, please. I'm just going to read the academic affairs mission. It's the academic affairs is the legislative arm that coordinates all academic issues between the student body and faculty at Texas A&M University. All policy regarding tuition, class sizes, textbooks, grades, scholarships, credit transfer, and core curriculum is formulated in academic affairs. I say that to bring awareness on the goal of this committee, because we're all here for a reason. That's for our academic career, and what better to focus on than that. So next slide, please. So a little more about me and my experience. I'm nearing the launch of a startup right now that's working with a couple people at Texas A&M to retain students and help them find their fit here at Texas A&M. So I'm hoping to launch that pretty soon. I also interned on Capitol Hill last summer. I'll be heading to DC again this summer in the administration. And also, I was president of the American Corporate Youth Association, which is about 24,000 members strong internationally. And I also interned for the 2016 Trump Pence presidential campaign and ran student engagement for the Midwest. But lastly, I'm also the peer facilitator at Texas A&M Econ Initiative, where I get to work with donors, potential students, and to show them all the great things that we have in our econ related program. And so some goals for the academic affairs committee. I'm going to pick up right where the previous year left off. Senator Powell, awesome guy. I love getting to spend time with him and chat. He's got a great relationship with Dr. Hennemer. And also, I want to focus on reviewing the different study abroad opportunities. Because normally what we did was we would look at the U.S. Department of State and their travel alerts to determine whether the areas that potential study abroad are happening in are safe for our students to go to. But we just recently, within the past year, have hired a third party to review not just the countries where different study abroad can go, but like the regions in those countries. So I want to look at work with the study abroad office to make sure that we can offer students here at Texas A&M different opportunities to expand their worldview and different cultures around the world and try to better become their students. I also want to be a firm proponent for the Student Success Initiative with Dr. Timothy Scott, and that has 4 pillars, and that would be graduation help desk, improved advising, because we all know we need it, and region scholars program funding. There's been a few changes to that, as well as the first year experiences for freshmen, which will be about 50 different classes launched to help people, their freshmen, their first year here, not necessarily freshmen, but people when they first get to Texas A&M, that they can find a good group of people with similar beliefs, similar involvement, and create that group of people that they go with for the rest of their life. Now I'm also a proponent of the open access educational resources. So I think this is a very easy way for us as Student Senate to support, like I said earlier, students here at Texas A&M who are here for their education, and it's just a very easy way for us to make it easier for our students to learn how to less get. Next slide. So, are there any questions? Yes. I would like to introduce you all to Evan Berger, great friend of mine. So,
Your 5 minutes starting.
Hi, Senator. So like Rob said, my name is Evan Berger. I'm a senator from the College of Ag and Sciences Caucus. And so whenever Rob approached me to be a character witness, I gotta be honest, I just don't love the idea of being a character witness. Once I kind of get sweaty and uncomfortable, even though I've spoken to y'all before and spoken kind of like a bunch of crowds before, I don't like it. I don't know. Just me. But honestly, I just think that Rob is such an impressive guy. That's the word that comes to mind when I think about him. I met him last year, my freshman year, and I was absolutely blown away. I mean, this kid, last year he wasn't even 20, now he's 20 years old, and he's got his life more together than I think I'm going to have by the time I graduate from here. Which part of the reason I believe that is I'm not really sure when I'm going to graduate from here. But dude's got his life planned out. He's got it figured out. He knows what's going on with that. He's a winner, and he just outlined a good list of goals for y'all to go off of to see what he wants from this year. But beyond just being a winner, Rob is a winner. I've seen him think about wanting to do so many things, tell me he's going to do so many things, and then actually do so many things. There's so many people who have all these great ideas and tell you all these great things they're going to do, but how many people do you know who are actually doers? People who go out and get those things done and really stick to what they say they're going to do. I guarantee you that every single one of those things you just saw there, Rob is going to get done, and if he can't get them done, it's not going to be anything that's in his power or somebody else's power around him didn't allow him to do it. It really won't be impossible because I've never seen this kid do anything or not do anything that wasn't possible. If there's something that's possible to do, he's going to get it done. And that's the thing about Rob. I really admire and I really wish that I was the person I'm trying so hard to be that person every day. I go out and do everything I can to get everything I say I'm going to get done. But beyond all that, beyond him being a parent, beyond him being a really creative, really impressive person, this kid knows so many students. Like, literally, I think I'm walking around campus and I'll see that cheers people I know on every walk from building to building. I don't think I've ever walked with Rob more than 12 feet without just like stopping and having a 15-minute conversation with somebody. And we look at academic affairs chair. That chair serves as a liaison between the students and student government and looking at academic programs within the university. And if we want to talk about somebody who's going to serve as great liaison to the student body, and for students, we want to talk about somebody who knows a lot of students and constantly is talking to students. And there's nothing more than that. He will literally drop everything to sit there, keep talking to people, and just get to know what's going on with them and know where their heads at. And so, with all these things in mind, I really I really made it priority of mine to come and speak on his behalf today, just because I have so much faith and so much pride and so much, uh, I absolutely know that Brock is going to do an awesome job with this. I have so much faith in that. And so that being said, I really hope and I really encourage you to consider Brock as your next academic affairs chair for the 72nd student senate. Thank you.
We will now enter a period of question and answer for 5 minutes, starting with Senator Rodriguez.
Senator Rodriguez, Board Member for the Western Caucus. If you don't mind expanding on one of your points earlier, you mentioned you're going to start up. Do you mind expanding on that before we go to unfamiliar with your project? What activities you've been doing?
Sure. So being a tour facilitator over at the initiative, I've been able to realize that when I have a smaller group of people with me, I can not only connect with them more on a personal basis, but I can also give them a better tour of our complex and the programs that go with it. And so I took that mentality and I've worked with career services, and we've designed a kind of a mentoring type software where it connects current students in the university with prospective students. And our goal is to open that up to alumni down the road. But so like, if Senator Neiman, if I'm a prospective student at Senator Neiman is ag economics, and I want to be ag economics, then my software would connect me with him. He would be able to show me and my family the ins and outs of the program, answer any specific questions, and kind of streamline that way for us to go above and beyond to make sure that when people get to Texas A&M University, and even when they're not, when they're still looking, that we can give them all the resources to get that perfect feeling, that, hey, I'm going to be an Aggie, I'm going to be in the Department of Agricultural Economics.
With 3.5 minutes, Senator Beal.
How would you say that your experiences through your current campaign, especially Washington,
So, on Capitol Hill, the speed and how technical it is, I think has shown me that when you have something that you're very dedicated about and you're passionate about, you can get far better places than if you're not. And if that makes sense. And so, like for me, I'm very passionate about the study abroad opportunities to expand that to Israel and other places. And so having that passion will help me push it through places where people without that passion may not be.
With 2.5 minutes, Senator Wood.
Senator Wood, Cloudman, engineering. So based on your experience, and you kind of look like you lead towards finance, like wondering why you take the finance route versus the academic.
Well, I mean, we have the finance background through ag economics and my talent company, but I'm very passionate about this university. And at this university, academics is why we're all here. And so with that, I feel like that's a big role to be the liaison for why we're all here. And so I think that's very exciting and something that we can continue to improve to make sure our students here are getting the best academic career that they possibly can.
With 2 minutes remaining, do we have any further questions? Senator Cabrera.
I saw one of your resume including an intern for the Trump defense campaign. Can you give more details about what exactly were you doing there?
Sure. So, being from Missouri, I had the opportunity to focus more on the Midwest. But with millennials and the youth vote being very, very important nowadays, it is my job to kind of be the liaison between the campaign and people my age. So I got to really work with and engage with volunteers and other people our age to rally them and get them out to vote, not necessarily for our ticket, but to just get them out to vote, because that's a big part of the American democracy.
With 1 minute remaining, do you have any further questions for the presenter? Seeing Senator Smith.
Senator Smith from Geosciences. I wanted to ask you about your startup. When's your launch date?
So we're hoping to launch it in College of Ag and College of Veterinary Medicine before doing a complete launch. And so our goal is to have it up by the fall. So
Go ahead.
as somebody who has started a company in the past and performed the duties such similar to this, I want to see if you can give me more confidence that you have the time to be able to put out the fires to come to the startup and be able to handle the responsibilities of this role.
Oh, good question.
15 seconds. Is it a motion? Seeing multiple seconds, a motion to extend the period for question and answer by 1.5 minutes. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All against? That passes.
Okay, so that's a great question, but one thing that I want to do is use the calendar and the resources that I have. When I make time for stuff, there's nothing that's going to get in the way of what I want to get done. And also going what I said about Senator McGill's question is when you have a passion for something, it's very easy to make time and push other stuff, the non-necessities away to make time for that.
With 30 seconds remaining, do you have any further questions for the presenter? Seeing none, thank you. If you and your clerk please step up, please. We'll now move into a period of debate. Again, you cannot use the candidates' names. It'll be 3 5-minute rounds, 2.5 minutes for each candidate. Do we have any debate for candidate 1? Senator Rodriguez.
Senator Rodriguez, Paul American Life Science Caucus. How do you say?
Howdy.
So knowing candidate number 1 for quite some time, I'll be able to tell you from experience firsthand just what it's like to be applicant number 1 schedule. What I mean by that, I mean in the most positive light as possible. That's simply because he's passionate. He's so passionate about what he does. He's gonna make sure that the time allotted for that, he's gonna be as effective with that as much as he can. And it's simply because he values what organizations and what projects he's really putting himself into, even his friendships. So that includes if he's going to spend an hour at his time having lunch with you, you're going to make sure that's the best lunch experience he's had in his entire life. I'll let you restate the can number and number 2.
That is out of order. Please yield the time to the floor.
My time.
We will now. That was for candidate 1. We will now go into a period of debate for candidate 2 and debate for candidate 2. Seeing none, we will move back into a period of debate for candidate 1. Is there any debate for candidate 1? Seeing none, and because the previous was out of order, debate is one-sided, and the period of debate has now closed. With that, again, please only put the candidate number when you're voting, put your caucus and sign it, and then we will collect it at the end. Does everybody have a ballot? And if not, please make sure to tell us. Do I see a motion? Senator Burke.
Senator Spur calls for I motion that we vote by ballot.
That motion is not debatable. Seeing multiple seconds, we will vote by ballot. Thank you.
Yes.
Do I have all the ballots? Has everybody voted? Okay. Senator Dan. Buy you a drink. Yep. Howdy. With a vote of 29 to 22, your next academic affairs chair is Kate Banks.
You great president of the I state your name. I state Banks. Do solemnly swear. Do solemnly swear. To faithfully execute to the best of my ability. Faithfully execute to the best of my ability. The duties of the office of academic affairs chair. The duties of the office of academic affairs chair. The Texas A&M Student Government Association. The Texas A&M Student Government Association. Will uphold the honors of the same. Will uphold the honors of the same. At all times to protect the welfare of the student body. At all times to protect the welfare of the student body. And to promote good relations between the students. And to promote good relations between students and those concerned with the and those concerned with the
Please be seated. Trustee motion.
Senator Fisher, for this caucus, I have a motion.
Please start your motion.
I move that we deviate from the agenda and consider enter here nominations consideration for student services chair.
Seeing multiple seconds. The motion to deviate from the agenda and the motion to deviate from the agenda and consider nominations for student services chair. Multiple seconds. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? That passes. We will now proceed into the election of student services chair. Are there any nominations? Senator Rodriguez. Please state your motion.
I move that we limit the time to 5 minutes.
Seeing multiple seconds. The motion to limit the period of presentation for the student services chair election to 5 minutes. All in favor, please say aye. All opposed? That passes. We will now proceed again into a period of nominations for student services chair. Do I have any nominations, Senator Hewlett? Saying a second, multiple seconds. Senator McGill, here to say. Do we have any further nominations? Seeing none, the period for nominations for student services chair is now closed. This is uncontested race, so the period for presentation will be 5 minutes. You'll get a 5-minute period for question and answer. Do not have time for a character witness, but you can allot your 5 minutes however you'd like. Please come to the floor. Time for shouting.
Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
I'm Brittany McGill. I'm an animal science major from the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences. I do have my laptop here today because I can't see. So, about me, I'm from, next slide please. I'm from El Campo, Texas. So this little bitty star at the bottom there, I don't recommend going there, but it's much fun. Like I said, I'm an animal science major. I did not want to be a vet. I went to law school, so I was with that question. I work for Agile Extension. I'm the assistant to an assistant to an assistant. I love it. And then I also am a golf coach to little kids. That's where my business is. So, my involvement, I'm currently the service chair for the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences Student Council. I am the president, well, I was the president as of yesterday. Aggies for Charity Water is an organization here on campus that raises money for water projects in developing nations. Last year, I was also the promotions chair. I'm on student senate. This last summer, I was the agricultural natural resources policy intern in Washington, D.C. I had the opportunity to work for Congressman Bill Flores with several of you in this room. It was a really great experience. I wish I really prepared me for non-bigger tax. So my platform for running for the student services chair is based on 3 different ideas. The first is greater support systems for students. The second is the promotion of a healthier lifestyle here on campus. And the third is sustainability. So for our support systems, my biggest idea that we have is affordable. Next slide, please. Next slide. Sorry, y'all got it. Okay. Next slide. Oh wait, sorry, go back. Okay. Nope. Next one. Okay, so my biggest one is affordable on-campus childcare for students and children. There's actually a lot of students that have their own children here on campus, and there is a childcare facility. The student discount on campus, you get to have your kid in childcare per month for $1,000 is tuition. It is the most expensive childcare in the Bryanville Station area with a discount. And we are the only Texas A&M school, and we're the only schools in the state of Texas that does not offer greater and cheaper childcare. So I think it was something that really needs to change. I think it's important, and we're here for our students. So with that, I would like to call Wes Fisher to give a brief character witness.
Thanks, Senate.
Howdy.
My name is Wes Fisher, and I'm a pleasure representing College of Liberal Arts this past year. And hugely excited to represent the Corps of Cadets in the fall. I'm standing before you tonight to help explain to you why I think Reagan McGill is by far and away the best and the only choice to serve this body as the Student Services Committee Chair. Sometimes when you visit somewhere you've never been, meet someone new, or maybe try new food or something, a word or phrase will jump into your head. This exactly happened to me when I met Reagan just over a year ago, and for me that word was, for whatever reason, fire. I'm sure I could analyze these snap judgments for days, but simply I've never met someone so passionate about seeking out problems to solve, offering her solutions, and genuinely changing her mind so it offers a better course of action other times. She's one of those people who actually cares less about who gets credit and more about what gets done. Hers personality is highly restorative, eager, and simplistic.
1 minute.
And all this
Your motion. I have to pause. Go ahead.
Sure, thanks, Dr. Chairs. I'm going to extend period presentation by 1 minute.
Seeing multiple seconds, the motion to extend the period of presentation by 1 minute. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. Continue.
I'll cut to the chase. I've seen it at the best. I've seen it at the worst, and I'm still more than willing to place my name behind it behind this position. And I can do things for me.
We will now enter a period of would you like to continue your presentation?
Yes, please.
You have
Thanks.
1 minute.
For those of you who know Wes, you know he's not a very emotional guy. I wish you would have gotten to say all of that because you really delivered it to your nurture from Wes. But you just got an email from the last Senate's chair, Shimada. It is a recommendation letter that she wrote. So if you would like to look at that, it is in your inbox right now. And with that, I know my time.
We will now enter a period of question and answer for 5 minutes, starting with Chair Banks or Senator Banks.
So what are your thoughts on the possible creation of a student health or mental health subcommittee and its integration?
Yeah, so that was actually one of the ideas that I had is to have a subcommittee for healthier lifestyles on campus. So healthier lifestyle is going to be everything from nutrition, exercise, mental health, emotional health, the whole 9 yards. And so I would like to integrate a mental health into that subcommittee. But having a health subcommittee is definitely on my agenda as a student.
With 4.5 minutes remaining, Senator Cabrera.
Senator Cabrera, Procedural purpose. My question is that you said that you want to find a way to lower the amount that you pay for child care. Yeah, my question is that even though I really even know raising the child care cost for student getting A&M, how will you find a way to complete that goal that you have here?
Right. So the University of Houston, what they do is that if you have a child that you want to put in their child care services, it is $250 a month. And that for that semester they add it on to your tuition. So your student loans, your scholarships can pay for that. I feel like that is a great idea. I know that the University of Texas has a different system, and Kingsville and Corpus Christi, they all have different systems. I would love to sit down and research further and see what would be the best course of action that these universities do, and which would work best on this.
With 3 minutes and 15 seconds remaining, Senator Spur.
Senator Spur, college of Vermont. I know you talked about kind of being on what you just said, talked about affordable health or child care on campus. The quote that University of Houston trying to have 250 and then that project. What do you personally deem as affordable for Texas students? All right, so the University of Houston is $250 a semester. Texas A&M is $1,000 a month. So that's double what most of us paying rent, I believe, is fair to say. So I think anything that is anything lower than $1,000 a month, I think it would be safe to say to match what average is across the Bryan College Station area. Because like I said, this is one of the most expensive childcare facilities in the county.
I'll put you down. Senator Banks. Chair Banks.
Sure. So you mentioned veterans in your presentation. What specific plans do you have for working on veterans issues?
Right. So being from the College of Ag and Life Sciences, we do have a lot of veterans that come back and they just want to get a degree. They go to the College of Ag and Life Sciences because we have such a high graduate job rate coming out of college. And so just sitting with them, just hearing that, when their GI Bill is coming late and they don't have secure housing, they don't have secure food. And so I know there's a lot of jokes about, when these guys are getting back, they're just getting married, That's not true. They actually need someone just to support them to get it's a lot of their reasons. And so I want to be able to just sit down with these veterans. I know there's organizations on campus where they all get together and meet. I have not had the chance to just truly sit down. What I'm saying based on the national statistics that I had the opportunity to review. And obviously Congressman Bill Flores, when he was put back onto the Veterans Affairs Committee, a lot of your projects. But those are some of the bigger issues facing education.
With a minute, 15 seconds, Senator Spur.
Senator Spur, College of Development. Following up on what I asked earlier. I don't think has provided child care as a position in a lot of who has tried to have children in childcare in the Rhine area. Are you aware of the cost of that? Like, I know you talked about like averaging the cost and like maybe taking that as a pay, but are you aware that the average cost is probably more than in like an average like childcare setting? Right. So actually, the Texas A&M Student Services released a report, and it was like a whole entire list of where you can send your child for an affordable price as a student. And there were several that were listed. And so your parents they make one.
What's the motion? Pause here 1 second.
College agriculture last night topics. I'm going to extend the question and answer session by 1 minute.
Seeing multiple seconds, the motion to extend the period of question and answer by 1 minute. All in favor, please say aye. Against? That passes. Minute, 15 seconds, please.
So it was not anywhere on this list. It was based on order of affordability. I was both my parents were in college, and I understood how taxing it was to have a kid while you're trying to get your degree. And I was something I know this is something that's very important not only to myself but to every single kid that is watching their parents go through the same thing. It's a struggle about school and rent and childcare on top of that. I mean, that's something that needs to be fixed. So these students have chosen Texas A&M. I think Texas A&M needs to choose their students.
With 30 seconds remaining, do you have any further questions for the presenter? Seeing none, the period of question and answer has now closed. Thank you. Cue up this. What's your motion?
Chairman St. Affairs, I move to build that out.
Seeing a second. That is not debatable. We will now vote by ballot. Yes, please state your motion.
Sam Duffy's College of Engineering, motion to vote by voice.
That motion is out of order. Voting by ballot supersedes voting by voice, and it has already been agreed upon. Do I see another motion?
College agriculture last night's caucus. I move to elect Senator McGill by acclamation.
In order for this to be allowed, this has to be unanimous consent. If there is not unanimous consent, once we voice vote, then we will vote by ballot. All in favor of unanimously voting Senator McGill to serve as your next student services chair, please say aye. Aye. Against? That passes. Please rise.
I really do.
Do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear.
to faithfully execute to the best of my ability
Faithfully execute to the best of my ability.
the duties of the office of student services chair
The duties of the office of student services chair.
for the Texas A&M Student Government Association.
For the Texas A&M Student Government Association.
To uphold the honor of the same.
To uphold the honor of the same.
At all times to protect the welfare of the student body.
At all times to protect the welfare of the student body.
And to promote good relations between students.
And to promote good relations between students.
And those concerned with the university.
And those concerned with the university.
Please be seated. Do I see a motion? Senator Walter.
This caucus, I move that we consider executive cabinet considerations.
Seeing multiple seconds, the motion to deviate from the agenda and consider executive cabinet confirmations All in favor, please say aye. Against? That passes. We'll now move into a period of executive cabinet confirmations, starting with the Executive Vice President, Thomas Barrow. SVP Gillette, would you like to introduce your candidate?
Well, howdy, Senate. Well, first off, I wanted to say I'm so excited to introduce y'all to the 3 top staff people that we've selected to go before you and be confirmed. This was an amazing process involving an application and interview by Greg and Sharp and myself. I truly believe the 3 people that we are bringing up today are the best fits for their jobs. They are absolutely incredible, and I'm really excited for them to show why. Getting into it, first I'd like to welcome Thomas Barrow. Thomas has been Aggie through and through. He lives and embodies the core values on a daily basis. He is one of the hardest workers I have ever met and is an incredible communicator. He demonstrates great leadership qualities, and I feel that through his experiences in the Corps of Cadets and as well as other positions and as well as other organizations will make him a great fit for this job. Thomas, take it away. Thanks.
Thomas. As a reminder, this is going to be a 5-minute presentation. When he says howdy, we will go into 5-minute question and answer. We will then go into debate and then voting after that. Go ahead, we're ready.
Howdy, Senate. Howdy. My name is Thomas Barrow. Thank you all so much for having me today. So glad to be here, especially because I just got on my marketing test. Thanks, Thomas Barrow. I'm from Fort Worth, Texas. Communication major and business minor. And a little fun fact you know about me is every member of my family is riding recycle. So, next slide. So I'm up for confirmation for executive vice president, and kind of my vision for executive vice president is to start off just being the right hand man for Mike Gillette. I look up to him a lot and share that vision for him a lot. I think being able to step in and do his job, and I think just working together in every aspect of the year and each year. Secondly, support chief of staff and operations vice president on top staff through meetings and just open communication. And third, I want to increase relationships and collaboration with leaders of campus through SVP roundtables, and that's just that point is just to speak to Mike and Stan Hanks more, just bringing voices of College Station A&M together to further the student body. And then next, working with y'all in the Student Senate, the Senate counterparts, and obviously the expectation we get bi-weekly meetings. And I'd love to be here and love to sit in and and then establish strong relationships with administration. I think that's one of the key factors of being executive vice president. And then finally, finance, get to represent and provide clarity, preserve accountability on spending within SGA. My values that I have are respect, self-service, and integrity. Just to touch on those real quick, respect for me is the reason I put it up first, because respect to me is one of those things that when you look at somebody, you see them for who they are, and especially in this society, in this where we are is we're Aggies, and that's who we are first. And so I think looking through different factors to see that we're Aggies is why I have respect up there first. Keep going. Next slide, please. Just a little bit about myself and experience. I'm in the Corps, in the uniform. I've been public relations sergeant in Squadron 17 this year. Got to serve on it last year as well. And that's been an incredible opportunity for me to just develop leadership skills. We work together to put events on the outfit and make sure we're keeping up relationship with former students. Anyway, all of that. Other leadership experience, I was a fish at my freshman year, and I actually got to sit at all the Senate meetings as being a fish ex-officio senator I never got to vote, but I was here for every meeting my freshman year. It was a great time. I other experience internship for Chamber of Commerce. That was great. Got to work with businesses and anyway, other campus involvement, Aggie Men's Club, Ross Military Company, and Aggie Buster. I'd love to serve as well as executive vice president if you all have it. Thank you. I'll be back to the questions.
Now into a period of question and answer for 5 minutes, starting with Senator Walter.
Do you have a chance to chat with Melvin Barr?
No, I actually haven't gotten to talk with her yet. I have a friend who was actually in my outfit. He was a senior when I was a freshman. Dan Rosenfield, he was executive vice president. So I've gotten to talk to him a little bit just about the position, but I haven't had an opportunity to talk about it to me yet. But I'm looking forward to getting to talk to her when I get the chance. So.
Senator Morgan.
Senator Morgan, College of Education. What do you see as the biggest challenge for SC as a whole and you as EVP over the next year?
For SBA as a whole, I would say the biggest challenge is bringing together the entire voice of the student body. I think we're elected by the student body, and obviously that's great. But I think we need to have open roundtable discussions and open forums, like with what Maggie talks about in this campaign. And I think we need to be in constant dialogue with every single student, every single person who can reach at SBA. And then as far as my role, at ABM or at executive vice president, I would say the biggest challenge I would face would probably be I don't know. I'd go back to just communication. You gotta have a little communication in everything you do. And so that's just reaching out. And I think with the cabinet we have, I think we're gonna be able to do that this time next year. Thank you. Yeah.
With 3 minutes remaining, do you have any further questions for the presenter? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you.
If you'll please step out of the room. Thomas. Thank you. We'll now enter a period of debate. For confirmation, you can debate for, open palm, or against, closed fist. We'll start with debate against for 2.5 minutes, go to debate for 2.5 minutes, and that will be 3 rounds, 15 minutes total, and it can be extended from there. So is there any debate against the candidate confirmation? Seeing none, debate is one-sided. The period of debate has now closed. Because this is a confirmation and it has to be 2/3 vote, we do have to vote by ballot, and so we will now enter a period of voting. Do I see a motion? Senator Clary.
Question for
question. So, the
Do you have a point of parliamentary procedure?
what's the answer? Yeah.
Please state your point of parliamentary
My
procedure.
rule procedure is that for the candidate, do we write a name or do we write a number?
Feel free to do either. You can put either. Put EVP on it. The main thing is just for or against, and make sure you sign it. Yes. And hold left when you're done, and we'll collect. Sorry. You're right. This is saying stuff that's out of my head. It's like, oh my god, he's so smart. Yeah. Yeah. Does anybody else still have a ballot to collect? Okay. Howdy. With a vote of 46-3, Thomas Burrow is your next Executive Vice President of the Executive Cabinet. Please rise. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Thomas Barrow,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to faithfully execute to the best of my ability
to faithfully execute to the best of my ability
the duties of the office of Executive Vice President
the duties of the office of Executive Vice President
for the Texas A&M Student Government Association,
for the Texas A&M Student Government Association,
to uphold the honor of the same
to uphold the honor of the same
at all times,
At all
to protect the welfare of the student body,
at all times,
now move into a period of consideration for the confirmation of Chief of Staff. SVP, would you like to introduce your candidate?
All right, well, howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
All right, well, next we have Casey Cusack. So, to be completely transparent, Casey and I have been friends since I was about 3 and 5. We met in the small town of Twin Falls, Idaho, and ended up moving back to Mount Rock as well. So, she is one of the best people that I've ever met. She has seen me at my best in my work. She challenges me to be better every day. She is an organized leader. She is tactful. She is pinpointed. She is always one of the smartest people. Please welcome Casey Cusack.
Well, howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
I am so excited to be here tonight. This is actually my first time in a Senate meeting, so I'm a little nervous, but all of y'all been so nice, so I really appreciate that. Just a little bit about me. My name is Casey Cusack, and I'm from Round Rock, Texas. I'm a business management major on the pre-law track. And a fun fact about myself is I spent the summer interning in Singapore, which was an incredible experience. It was through the MSc LT Jordan program. Okay, so I just wanted to hit on a little bit on my job qualifications. So I'm currently serving as the internal director for Progressively Reaching Excellence and Professionalism. It is a flow here on campus, and our entire goal is to develop passion professionally as well as personally. And through this experience, I've been given the opportunity to work on a team with 3 other directors, as well as lead 12 executives in the execution of our goals and vision for the organization. In addition to this, I also am a student worker for the Corps of Cadets. I work under Colonel Starnes in operations and training, so if you ever need to schedule regularly, send me an email. I also am a fish dance counselor. Very excited to be going back to Lakeview this summer with Kim Martinez. And in addition, I interned this summer at a law firm in Singapore, and I got to experience what it's like working on a team with multiple people from different backgrounds, different languages. It was a very incredible opportunity, and one that I think will give me a significant head start if I am selected as chief of staff tonight. So just a little bit about my values. Servant leadership has kind of shaped who I am, and I connected with this through my time with prep, and really think that the idea of being a leader is not to promote my own interests, but to promote the interests of the people around me, and to really give them the ability to see and do what they see fit for the organization and give them those resources. So that kind of plays hand in hand, I feel like, with being chief of staff. My position is to develop the relationships on the team, and I really want to give the committees and commissions the ability to grow themselves and do what they see fit, while also making sure that they stay aligned with the SPC's goals and values. So kind of touching on my vision for the position, I want to develop effective team relations and create a cohesive unit. I think that you can accomplish nothing without a big team behind you, even if you are the most qualified person for this job. So really holding people accountable and also transparent communication is a cornerstone of any good team. In addition to that, intentional development is a passion of mine, and that's something that I want to bring to the executive cabinet through goal setting. And goal setting not only at the beginning of the year, but throughout the year, and making sure that we're held accountable to the goals that we set for ourselves. In addition to this, progress benchmarking that goes back to the idea of accountability and making sure that everyone is really doing what they're saying they're doing, and if they're not, we address those issues proactively rather than reactively. And thirdly, leadership development is something that I want to challenge each and every person that I work with to do, and that goes with building resumes, building soft skills, and things that can help them grow overall as a person, not just within their role in SGA. And then I want to support cabinet members in developing actionable items that have a positive impact on campus. I think this year we have an amazing opportunity to really create change. And in doing so, connecting that one voice. One of the big things that I would like to do is to connect the executive cabinet and the legislation. And so, because I think we should lead the way that we want the student body to lead, and in doing that, we need to start closing that gap and working together as a team and as a cohesive unit. So that is all I have for you. And now I'll take your question.
Thank you. We will now enter a period of question and answer for 5 minutes, starting with Senator Cabrera.
Pedro Cabrera from College Liberal Arts. I think that working together with Michael Gillette, the vice president, has allowed you to experience more of this kind of job.
Can you rephrase that?
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
How has working with Michael Gillette has inspired you to decide to go for this kind of position?
Yeah, no, definitely. So when Michael approached me to work on this campaign, it was because he really inspired me and showed me what it was like, and I really think that he was the right person to, accomplish the goals that he was setting out to accomplish. And so for me, I got to see what it was like to work on a team like that and work with students who are very open and driven to making this university better, and I wanted to be a part of that, and I wanted to give my skills to that greater purpose of furthering it.
With 4 minutes remaining, Senator Gay.
Very good, great talk. So, vision, you talk about goal setting. So, point would be like for goals.
Chief of Staff.
Yes.
So for me, my first goal is to sit down with each and every member of the executive cabinet and get a better sense of what they see for the future and how we can take what they want and what Michael wants and combine them into one vision and good idea. And then along those lines, kind of my role is to develop and evolve based on who I'm working with. And so for me, my goal is to just be the best resource possible to members that serve under me. And that is going to be that.
With 3 minutes remaining, do you have any further questions for the presenter? Senator Morgan.
Senator Morgan, college education. What do you see as your biggest challenge or achieve that?
My biggest challenge by far and wide is going to be the fact that I have little SGA experience. But like I said, when I interned this summer in Singapore, I was the only intern at the law firm that didn't have any legal experience, and I wasn't a law student. And I thrived on that challenge, and I loved it. And I have an extreme commitment to learning, and I'm so looking forward to the challenge of getting to work with people and bring that outside perspective to SGA. It's going to be challenging, but it's something that I'm excited to tackle and take on.
With 2.5 minutes remaining, do you have any further questions for the presenter? Seeing none, the period of question and answer has now closed. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You'll please sit down. We will now enter a period debate structured the same way as the previous one. 3 5-minute rounds, starting with 2.5 minutes to debate against. Do you have any debate against the candidate for Chief of Staff? Seeing none, debate is one-sided. The period of debate has now closed. We will now enter a period of voting. Again, it needs to be 2/3 majority, and so we will vote by ballot. You can put COS on the top, confirm, and then make sure to sign it again. Yeah. Howdy. With a vote of 46 to 1 to 5, your next chief of staff for the executive cabinet is Casey Patuzzi. Please rise. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Casey Patuzzi,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to faithfully execute to the best of my ability
to faithfully execute to the best of my ability
the duties of the office of chief of staff
the duties of the office of chief of staff
for the Texas A&M Student Government Association,
for the Texas A&M Student Government Association,
to uphold the honor of the same
to uphold the honor of the same
at all times to protect the welfare of the student body
at all times, to protect the welfare of the student body
and to promote Please be seated. We will now move into a period of consideration for the position of Operations Executive Vice President. SVP Gillette, will you please introduce your candidate?
Absolutely.
All right, howdy, Senate.
Howdy. All right, so I now have the pleasure of introducing Paige. So Paige is one of the most incredible people I've had the opportunity of meeting recently. She is so intelligent. She is such a hard worker. She is just an unbelievable person. We've gotten to become pretty close pretty quickly. We nerd out over oil and gas and all of the energy economy. We're both hoping to go into oil field at some point. So we really enjoyed that. But above all else, Paige's proven track record with the SGA. This should be an absolute slam dunk for this role. I'm really excited that y'all can hear from her today. Please welcome Paige.
Howdy, Senate. Like Ricky said, my name is Paige Christie, and I'm asking for your confirmation for the role of Operations Executive Vice President. A little bit about me. I'm currently a junior chemical engineering major from Garland, Texas, still up here. A few fun facts is that last summer I worked on natural gas engines out in Eagle Ford shale oil area, and I've also ridden Pelicans in Thailand. So, like a little bit of adventure there. The values that I hold most dearly are first and foremost communication, secondly leader empowerment, and third relationship facilitation. As you can tell, all of these really focus on interacting with other people. What I found in my time at SGA is that we are most effective and most productive when we're working well with each other, whether that be within the executive cabinet or between branches, the judicial, legislative, and executive branch altogether. And so seeing the history of relationships and the impact that we've been able to have in the past in the student body, that's what encouraged me to continue my involvement with SGA and keep pressing in towards administration to help better the student body. So a few of my visions for this role, the first focuses on the SGA committees. We have about 2,500 members involved in SGA, and after talking with a lot of the involved in our SGA committees, they don't understand the structure of more of the legislative side or the executive side for that matter. And so if we can start internally with students who are already involved with COLDIS and already are in here, then we can let them know how they can be involved more with advocating on students' behalf. I think that would be really impactful for them. Also, I would like to use chair roundtables as a way to continue to communicate both the legislative and executive agendas to the chairs of each SGA committee so they can disseminate that information down to their committee members, and we can start that process of communicating better with the student body through our SGA committee. Secondly, I would like to continue to focus on the code. It's a little bit of an animal, as all of you all know, and so being able to work closely with my student counterpart and the Chief Justice to continue to go through the code and to make it clear and to reduce any sort of ambiguities that might be involved with them, something that I would like to continue to do as Operations Executive Vice President next year. Lastly, one of my roles as Ops CDP would be to oversee the Development Commissioner. And with that, with the SGA endowment, which will benefit all members of SGA, trying to seek new ways and develop a deeper relationship with the association to try and figure out how we can increase that funding and how I can empower the Development Commissioner to do so. Next slide. So a little bit about my involvement and my experience in SGA. Last year, I was able to serve as Chief of Staff of the Executive Cabinet. And so being on top staff and being in constant communication with Amy last year really gave me a lot of insight into how to handle different administrators and how to empower our cabinet members to go out and create open dialogue with both students and administrators. And so having that background, I think, will allow me to be a valuable player on top staff moving forward. The year before that, I served as election commissioner. So that gave me a really in-depth view of In my freshman year, I served as a member of the election commission, and that's my first experience with SGA. And another reason why I'm passionate about getting freshmen involved with SGA is that they can continue their 4-year development, because it's hard that a lot of the positions are only for 1 year, yet the administrators see the development of the campus on a 5, 10, 20-year track. And so if you can get students involved with SGA young, then having 4 years of involvement can create a really deep impact, especially in their relationship with the Also, I've been involved with other things on campus, such as the Spring Week Exchange Program, where I collaborated with students from Doha, Qatar. I also interned over in China with
Trustee
Procedural.
Motion, the pause.
Speaker pro temple, motion to extend the period of presentation by 2 minutes.
Multiple seconds. The motion to extend the period of presentation by 2 minutes. All in favor, please say aye. Against? That passes. 2 minutes remaining. Please begin.
I'm a listener. I've also a member of Philadelphia Sisters and have served as a host. This is my second year in my semester. Now I'd like to open the floor to questions that you have.
We will now enter a period of question and answer for 5 minutes, starting with Senator Rodriguez.
Senator Rodriguez, Paul General, Rizal County. Reading my lack of knowledge on one of your points, question what is Philadelphia?
Philadelphia Sisters is a Christian women's organization.
Do you have any further questions for the presenter? Senator Morgan.
Senator Morgan, college education. What do you see as your biggest challenges possibly?
I was preparing myself for your question. I think seeing SGA in scope for multiple years, I think our biggest issue that we face is communication. And so it's great if we get a lot of work done and we pass a lot of great bills, but if we're not giving students that information and letting them know the impact and the changes that are occurring on campus, then I only think that we're going to have our job. And so with having a vice president of communications on cabinet, we'd really like to utilize that role to take what Sumit's doing and what he's doing and really focus on how can we distribute that to the 65 approximate thousand students on campus.
Senator Jeffries.
Since you're going to this communication, what ways do you do that?
So that is the question. But what we found is social media is great and finding ways to get students on our social media pages because students are constantly on their social media. That's a good way, but honestly, nothing is as impactful as face-to-face conversations with students. And so this is one of my main points as well, is increasing our face time with students. How can we do that, and how can we encourage students to participate and come to these roundtables that we hold? That's a question and a way that we'll have to get creative and figure out.
With 3 minutes remaining, do you have any further questions for the presenter? Seeing none, thank you. The period of question and answer has now closed. If you'll step outside. We will now enter a period of debate structured the same way, 15 minutes in length, 3 5-minute increments. We will begin with a 2.5-minute period of debate against. Is there any debate against the candidate? Seeing none, debate is one-sided. The period of debate has now closed. We'll now enter a period of voting. Again, it needs to be 2/3 majority, and we will vote by ballot. You can put OEVP on top of this, and please make sure to sign it again. So we yeah,
We're not gonna give them all. Right? We give them one.
Are there any other votes that you've not turned in yet? Any other votes? But I didn't study for my third exam until 4 minutes. Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna change.
I mean, that's good.
Well, so actually,
Howdy. With a vote of 41 to 3 to 3, the next operations executive vice president is Paige Ridsby. Please rise. the Texas A&M Student Government Association.
for the Texas A&M Student Government Association,
to hold the honor of the same
to hold the honor of the same
at all times to protect the welfare of the student body
at all times to protect the welfare of the student body
and to promote good relations between the students
and to promote good relations between the students
and those concerned with the university.
and those concerned with
Please be seated. We will now re-enter the period of officer elections. We will start with the Diversity and Inclusion Committee. Do I see a motion? Do we have any nominations for diversity and inclusion? Chair Banks.
Chair Banks, I nominate Claire Rodriguez.
Seeing multiple seconds, Senator Rodriguez, do you accept? Do any further nominations for Diversity and Inclusion Committee? Seeing none, the period of nominations has now closed. Since it is uncontested, you have 5 minutes for presentation. You can divvy up however you wish. You will not get time for character witness, but you also have 5 minutes question and answer. Senator, yeah. 5 minutes, sorry.
All right, happy today. So my name is Claire Rodriguez, and I'm running for diversity and inclusion from the fighting class of 2021. So a little bit about me, I'm an industrial distribution engineering major from and some fun facts about me. So I currently hold my 2-mile high school record for track and field. I also studied abroad in San Miguel in my freshman year last year. I also have a big passion for travel, and this summer I'm going to be interning in Phoenix, Arizona, and hoping to start a YouTube blog there too. So yeah, that. So some leadership roles that I have on campus right now. I'm currently the vice president of the National Science Institute. I also recently gained a position on the new SLOPE, which is Sophomore Leadership on Promoting Equality. I'm also an external affairs associate for the Science President Council, and also in professional association for industrial distribution, which is just an engineering sector of helping professionals be types of jobs. So my mission for this committee is to increase the representation of the student body by overall helping create a lasting relationship between the students and the administrators. So by this theory, I hope to create a relationship that will help us move forward and create a more diverse campus overall. Okay, so a little bit of a demographic breakdown for A&M. From 2016 stats, it shows that A&M has grown overall, and from this right now we have a 23.6% growing population of Hispanic students, and the rest following. So from this, I hope to create a serving institution that goes through all factors, heritages, and to develop and support all campus climate and to overall increase representation for every different race and ethnicity on campus. So some of my goals. The first thing I really hope to improve this coming year is to push for a diversity outreach center on the new student services building that is being built right across the MSC. And I believe it's going to be up and coming this fall. So from this, I hope to get one-on-one counseling guidance for students who think that might overall want some counseling to help them become more acclimated to the atmosphere at A&M. One of my second goals for this year is to increase eating options here on campus, whether that be halal, kosher, vegan, vegetarian. I know there's a lot of students who sometimes struggle finding the food that they need on campus to nourish their day-to-day life. So from this, I hope to gain support from Dr. Coleman and Dr. Pugh to gain some sponsorship to help bring more eating options on campus for these students to have a more diverse and inclusive environment to find these options on campus. Excuse me. And my third goal is to increase social media representation through student interaction. And so from this, I hope to increase the Twitter and Instagram page from Student Senate and help uplift the current diversity inclusion we have right now. And from this, I hope students can know exactly what we're doing, we plan to do, and gain student feedback of what we can do in the future. Okay, so some of my diversity inclusion involvement as of right now. So a couple weeks ago, I attended the internal affairs meeting with Vice President Dr. Q, and that was really great. He went over all the demographics of the student population right now, the current student activities that are being uplifted through the atmosphere, and how we can help the students feel more included in the environment of IUSN. So it was really great something that I have been able to attend so far, just seeing all the students come together in one fashion to really be there in support of helping A&M become more of an institution where everybody's just like going for their dreams and reaching for higher education. I also last weekend attended the National Scholar Conference here on campus, and I was privileged to be sponsored by the MSC KMAC Former Student Outreach Center, and so they were able to provide me some funds to attend that, and I learned so much about the different things you can do on campus to help students reach their goals.
1 minute.
And I was also the previous diversity inclusion.
Just your motion. Pause real quick. Chair Banks.
Chair Banks, I move I move to extend the hearing presentation by
Motion, seeing multiple seconds, the motion to extend the period of presentation by 5 minutes. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Very,
That passes. Please continue.
okay,
Never called for it.
Okay. That is out of order, and I had already declared that motion passed, and so please continue. You have 6 minutes remaining.
Ceremonies. I believe division is in order after the fair. If you need immediately after the fair has declared the result of the
So the reason that Speaker Mendoza called you out of order wasn't that the division was out of order. He wasn't saying that. He was calling you out of order for not getting recognition for speaking. And so a division can be called, it technically was called beforehand. We can do a rise and vote, but it was pretty clear. So we'll go ahead and do the rise and vote.
Withdrawn. Withdrawn. Okay. Sorry about that. Please continue.
Okay, I'll read this, guys. So, I also was a previous member of the 69th, 70th, or actually the 70th, 71st session, and I was the 72nd session. And I was also part of the diversity and inclusion committee that started last year. So I was able to be a part of that with Adam and helping create this committee, see the different things we can do to make it better. And it was just so awesome to see this committee rise up, and I hope to take on this baton and keep running with it. So some of the diversity and inclusion legislation I really hope to continue this coming session is Milan's graduation, where it's a bilingual ceremony. So I really hope for that and hope to show more of these in the next coming years. I also want to help initiate the Math Games Task Force to make sure that that's up and running smoothly. I also want to help make sure that the meditation rooms on the West Campus Library Center campus and for some on the engineering side of campus to ensure that students have meditation rooms, prayer rooms. I also want to bring into a new perspective on diversity of thought. One of the students here just mentioned to me how we can really expand upon that and push for an increased diversity in that spectrum realm. So I'm hoping to look into that and see what you can do with that too. And I also want to increase diversity awareness and certification that architectural and liberal arts majors can also receive. And so I was reached out also by a new student who wanted me to bring this up to the Senate floor where we increase the certification so students go out and take a couple extra classes and they get this certification where they can go out to their workforce and give this to their employer saying I have a diverse background and I'm more than willing to go on to the field, study abroad, work abroad, and really just kind of touch these factors of land and stuff like that. And another big thing I would love to touch on is honoring all military and serving Aggies, not only that we're here at ANU right now, but are also serving overseas. I know they do a lot for us since the Corps Cadets is what founded A&M, and they are the heartbeat of our campus. I really want to make sure that we continue to pass legislation and resolution for them to ensure that we are receiving the recognition that they deserve and really do. And a couple other things that I want to also initiate is to maintain the spotlight on all national heritage regulations. So whether it be Hispanic, Asian, Black, Native American, every single resolution that we can pass, I'm totally for it. I think it's like one of the best things we can do here at A&M to really advocate for every student that we have and to really push for what they believe. I also want to advocate for more sexual assault awareness resolutions. I know this is a big issue that a lot of people on campus sometimes, and I want to make sure that every woman and female and male really has the safety and security that they need to be able to receive that higher education that they deserve, and they're not feared or alarmed by anything such as sexual assault. I also want to make sure that we pass a lot of LGBTQ legislation, just like we did last session. And I also hope to keep in close coordination with the interstate prayer groups that were also mentioned to bring upon the campus. And through this, I want to make more town halls so we can see what the students want, what they need, and what they believe that our campus needs for the future too. And I also had initiatives to bring on more multi-ethnic graduation ceremonies, whether that be Asian, any kind of cultural background that we can have, and bring different languages to have these ceremonies. For different students who possibly can't bring their families to the normal English ones, we can create new ones where they can be recognized for the achievements that they have here at A&M. And so one of the main classes that I was going to bring to the committee is big social media awareness. I know that it's taken off tremendously in the past few years. So through this, I want to do Twitter opinion polls.
Your motion. Saying multiple seconds. The motion to extend the period of presentation by 2 minutes. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Division has been called. All opposed to extending the period of presentation by 2 minutes, please rise. Okay, please be seated. All in favor of extending the period of presentation, please rise. Okay, please be seated. That passes. You have 2 minutes. Please continue.
So definitely social media has taken off. I believe it's one of the greatest things that we can reach out to the students through. I know that in the past we tried to send in mailboxes and emails, but social media spreads like a wildfire. So if we can get out there, the different things we're doing, different initiatives that we want to partake in the future, if we get it through social media, I know that it spreads your campus so quickly, no one can contain. So that's one thing I really want to figure out and running with is focusing on social media awareness in all aspects. To really keep Twitter posted on all the updates on the legislation we pass. To definitely work closely with the battalion, the school newspaper on the different things that we hope to do in the future. To really do Twitter student opinion polls on what they think we should do and what we should not do. What they love that we're doing and what they don't. So we can overall become better as bodies. Because we're here for the students, ultimately not for ourselves. We're giving ourselves a service to the others that are around us. I believe if we really hear out what they need and what they want, it'll really make us a better body overall. And also, I think a fun little thing to do is some video updates on what we can send, so whether it be like people of things that we do behind the scenes or just like fun legislation that we have to pass. I think it's cool for students to see exactly. We're not just like senators, but we're also students too, so they can come out and reach out to us when we're around the school too. And also, I'm hoping for some QR codes that we can post around. So I think students can reach out to me quick too. And so with that, my contact information is up there. I'm always available to meet anybody who can. I love coffee, so if you have a coffee, hit me up. But yeah, I hope to be a representative for all and support every idea that I can. So thanks for being here.
We'll now enter a period of question and answer for 5 minutes, starting with Chair Pence.
Sure, that's there. So, could you please describe what impact your community service is incentive will have
I was able to work closely with Chair Kuzar, who's also the current chair in the 71st session, and I was privileged to be in his committee at Diversity and Inclusion, where we started from scratch, learning all the new contacts, learning the different initiatives, the different tags, the different resolutions, and the different meetings that we need to attend to be able to make this role very fulfilling for our campus. So I believe overall being part of this committee and the new startup really helped me overall see what it needs and what we can do in the future to make it better.
I put you down. With 4 minutes and 15 seconds, Chair McGill.
Sure, we go about student services. So a lot of your main points were regarding religion and race. Obviously diversity is much more than that. Do you have any plans for most definitely. I know that there are a lot of different aspects that I was researching about how diversity can be touched upon campus. And a lot of students are reaching out to me about the race and ethnicity aspect, but I really want to focus on everything that we can do, whether it be diverse eating, diverse thought, everything that falls under the category. I'm more than excited to take on.
With 3.5 minutes remaining, Senator Trustler.
Thank you, Senator Foster, on campus. I like the idea of diversity thought. To clarify, do you believe that free speech and fun is a part of having a diverse and civil campus?
Most definitely. I know that it's a big part of especially our constitution and civil rights. So students have the right to like believe what they want and to say what they want. And I believe that we should have every right to have a free diverse thought and it would really advocate for students to pursue their dreams.
With 3 minutes remaining, Senator Wood.
Senator Wood, James. You had a ton of like goals on there. I was just wondering kind of which one's your main one because the reality is probably won't put all of them in like 1 year. And so I want to know what your main one is.
Definitely. My main one for this year is to more than likely, without a doubt, reach out to the Student Services Center and really get one-on-one guidance counseling for students in that area of aspect for diversity and just to help students to see the benefits that they need from that service as well.
With 2.5 minutes remaining, Senator Dang.
This summer it's going to be posted for sure once we start my internship. Yeah, I'm ready. I'm excited to be fun.
With 2 minutes remaining, Senator Feldman.
Senator Feldman, off-campus topics. How do you plan on making sure that all diversities and all different races and religions are represented accurately on campus?
Definitely. I hope to meet with a lot of individuals, whether it be through the organization, the Alliance Council. My goal is to really reach out to campus. I love meeting people and hearing their thoughts on that. So I'm hoping for the Twitter polls and the opinions that I can get insight on what campus is lacking and to really touch upon those areas and meet with students and individuals and see what we can do as a whole.
With a minute 15 seconds, Senator Oliver.
I most definitely think that if we communicate closely with the faculty senate, that they'll also be able to help represent us in getting to the administration the goals that we have, and also reaching out to the administration, letting them know that we want to be here for the students and that we just want to make a difference, taking that and the next step further in producing more diverse and inclusive environment.
With 30 seconds remaining, Senator Cabrera. Same motion. Seeing multiple seconds, motion to extend the period of question and answer by 3 minutes. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? Division has been called. All opposed to extending the period of presentation or extending the period of question and answer by 3 minutes, please rise. This is opposed. Please be seated. All in favor, please rise. Please be seated. That motion fails. You have 30 seconds remaining.
Puede contactarme y con campus.
I definitely want to reach out to the supporters in the student services sector and the diversity administration so we can help be in support for this and to increase the funds for students we would have a meeting option.
With 10 seconds remaining, Senator Jeffries.
What is your stance on the implication where the Jeffries college engineering what's your stance on the implication?
Please finish.
I would say every student has their right to like really pursue their dreams. So like just to make an inclusive environment in any way can definitely my goal.
That concludes the period of question and answer. Shall we, by general consent, elect Clarissa Rodriguez to Diversity and Inclusion Chair? Seeing none against, Senator Rodriguez is elected as your next Diversity and Inclusion Chair. Please rise. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Clarissa Rodriguez,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to faithfully execute to the best of my ability
to faithfully execute to the best of my ability
the duties of the office of Diversity and Inclusion Chair
the duties in the office of Diversity and Inclusion Chair
for the Texas A&M Student Government Association.
for the Texas A&M Student Government Association,
To uphold the honor of the same
to uphold the honor of the same
at all times to protect the welfare of the student body
at all times to protect the welfare of the student body
and to promote good relations between the students
and to promote good relations between students
and those concerned with the youth.
and those concerned with youth.
Please be seated. We will now proceed into the election of the Legislative Affairs Chair. Do I see any nominations for the chair appointments?
Sure, Bank Secretary Affairs would like to nominate Senator Rodriguez.
Seeing multiple seconds. Senator Rodriguez, do you accept this nomination? Any further nominations for Legislative Affairs Chair? Seeing none, the period of nominations has now closed. Because you're uncontested, you'll get a 5-minute presentation and a 5-minute question and answer period as well. Howdy.
Say firstly, well, you can tell us, my name is John Ryan Rodriguez. We can drop the Senator Rodriguez title and go straight to John Ryan. Hello, friends. So a little bit about me. I am full of BS, as you can see, and I'm getting a agricultural development. A minor in international development. I was born and raised in Granite Valley. When people ask me where I'm from, I just ask me, "Oh, can you go to Mexico?" Right there. In addition to that, I'm first generation Chinese. Thanks to the national facility festival championship, my parents were Raiders. So nationally, I had to go for them. It's okay, I coached them almost all my life. I'm proud of that. So it's good. We can go to the next thing. Just a couple of fun pictures. The first one, I have a lot of names John Ryan. I really haven't met too many people with two first names, John Ryan. So seeing John Ryan Boulevard in the San Antonio area, I see the picture next to it. That's the coolest thing. And then the next picture, I think Boy Scouts. This is a Boy Scout camp a few summers back. Clearly, not necessarily than I used to be. But I used to have be bold haircut, and that is a great one. That's like this. So a little bit of my training involvement. I have been part of Senate. This is my second time being a second Senate. Excuse me. This is my second session. I did run 3 times. I lost the first one, but it was that first officer helping me, and I want to say that really reaffirmed desire to be part of student Senate. Also, I'm part of the interdisciplinary skills panel, which is it's a great opportunity. I really encourage anyone who is interested in being involved in student government outside of student Senate to really doing that. I'm a part of Greek Life on campus, representing the demographic by being says vice in the role of being our recruitment and roles terms vice president, right? I'm the role. College, again, part I represent my science council there, college, and I am executive student assistant at the Association of Former Students. I know we all are part of Red Ass Meetings, Red Ass Teams, there's a lot of grief about the association asking for money. I promise I'm not that student assistant. When it comes to SharePoints, I simply want to read up 3 that I'm very passionate about, and I hope that you will go the same way with me. The first one is building bridges, that one. And it's simply put, we know that slide. Finding civil discourse, which that means is we're not all going to see what's meaning here in this room. And I really love that. And I really appreciate that. And so there's differences that we can really hone in on, excuse me, and find a middle ground. Let's say relations one of those things where we're going to find some differences. But it's those that I'm sure about it, I think will really flourish in that committee, being an experienced member of that committee myself. Do a serious analysis by submission to speak. You're going to find commonalities, focus on the unity in the room. Next slide, please. Engage. I want to work extensively with the Vice President Legislative Relations Committee. I've already talked extensively with former VP Legislative Relations, and that's Mr. Greg Cross. Talked extensively also with Eric Wilson, whether it's here or outside of the Senate room. I'll find specifications that senators are passionate about. Just because we are student body dialogue on campus, interest groups, simply meaning again, we're going to have a lot of bodies in here that are going to be different in their thought. And so finding those different thoughts on campus, I think we can really push for some really cool legislation. Continue. And build up, stand relevant. So we are in talk here when it comes to our state legislator, but we're going to be next year. However, I really think it's that time of going on a downhill slope that we can really start keeping that momentum going. One of the intentional while staying updated on statewide issues, great legislation for open legislator, we're going to do with other committees on any issues. With that, I would love to introduce my third witness, Mr. Trails.
What happens today?
Chair Harris, Finance. I'm going to extend the period of presentation by 2.5 minutes.
Saying multiple seconds. Motion to extend the period of presentation by 2.5 minutes. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. You have 15 seconds, please.
Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
So, my name is Trey Lozando. I'm a junior agricultural leadership and development major, and in the 71st section. But today I'm here to tell you about my good friend John Ryan, why I feel like he could be excellent as your next legislative relations chair. So, if you didn't know John Ryan, probably knows 3 things about him. First, you can probably hear him before you see him. Second, he's one of the most credible, I use it all the time. And third, his drive for success and wanting to make a difference in the world is extraordinary in everything that he does. Now, when I first met John Ryan 5 years ago, I was warned that this kid talks more than anybody else, and that was extremely true. However, I think because of that, John Ryan has made excellent connections here on this campus and has been better able to make friends with strangers that he meets and also tell the story of Adams here on this campus. This past summer, when I was working with the Secretary of Agriculture, the Honorable Senator Pugh, the important thing he told us about legislation is not about the words on thousands of pieces of paper. It's about telling the stories of constituents and telling the stories of things that we believe in. I believe John Ryan is ready and able to communicate the story of Adams here on this campus. I think we do an amazing job at that. Second, we know that John Ryan loves Texas A&M, and it's something he's been rooting for a very long time. During a time when I was traveling the United States in a past leadership role, I would get sent tweets and texts about John Ryan from his Twitter, as he would have his own Yelp practices on Twitter, as well as have a bunch of red ass tweets. This just shows that John Ryan is rooted in this university and he is ready to serve this university to the best of his capacity. And finally, I believe Ryan's experiences and drive for success will push him to be in an excellent position in this role. He has accomplished things that most students on this campus have or will in and outside of this campus. Whether it be serving as a Texas FFA state officer and representing the 123,000 members of the Texas FFA, or serving the student senate as an active voice. He knows what it takes and he knows what leadership is, and I know that he's ready to serve you here on this campus in this position. We all see the transformational experience that happens to students as they walk across this campus, and I truly believe that John Ryan is ready to cultivate that legacy of Aggies and past Senate members for us. John Ryan is here for Aggies, all Aggies, and I think he is ready to represent y'all.
You have 45 seconds remaining.
45 seconds. I want to thank Ms. Trey. I really appreciate those kind words and for letting me rush through those slides. I know we are on some front when we're at home, and thank you for letting me extend that time so we can get the presentation. With that, I think about time to go for it.
With that, we'll enter a period of question and answer with 5 minutes, starting with Chair Banks.
Chair Banks, Section Human Affairs. So you're the confirmed as our legislative chair. Will you, for the first time ever, say yes when I say that you go to something?
That is a great question. I will say I have been in Subco. I thoroughly enjoy Subco. For the new senators in this room that have not been in Subco, I highly encourage you. It's a great way to bond with fellow senators in this room. As well as it's an ID experience. You know, go to the Red House Chicken, grow some bones, play some pool, and enjoy your fellowship.
Mission very cool. Are you referring to the time we showed up Subco after not?
So that's a great question. That is a great question. It's not a bad question for let's see, derogatory. This is the mistake of how that happens. So Rules and Register, Evan Berger and I were putting on a partner procedure demonstration where we had this member outside college meeting come in, felt over an hour to get to that. He is also a former student. And so he wanted to come to town and help us with that. He just wanted to relive some old memories of the chicken while we were done with the presentation. So as a reason why I missed that, it was excused. We excused it. And in addition to that, I was trying to get Red House fun with former students. Thank you.
With 3.5 minutes remaining, Chair McGill.
Chair McGill, Student Services. Is it true that your name's not John Ryan, but John Ryan?
To answer that question, for 18 years of my life, my parents told me that John Ryan was my first name, and I fought people about it because mom is always right, right? So when I was doing driver's license, I was able to run this. I did it all when I was 18, and there's such thing my mom wanted to help out, like she wanted to type this. She put John first name, Ryan middle name, Margarita's last name, and asked her mom, like, well, why is Ryan as a middle name? And I was actually sitting in the office chair. She swirled around, took a big breath, and was like, and she put it on me. I've always had one with John Ryan, so it's really weird to break that. It's one of those traditions to take twice, to get for 18 years, and yeah, appreciate it.
With 2.5 minutes remaining, Senator Morgan.
Senator Morgan, what is your favorite thing about next day?
That's a question. I appreciate that. For the sake of time, I know it's like legislative relations, I will say this. My favorite thing about Texas A&M is you'll always find a friendly place. What I love about this institution is that I can always bring it up to people who are outside of it, and once they come here on campus, they know right off the bat that they're going to find such a home here on campus. That's what I love about this.
With 2 minutes remaining, Senator Cabrera.
What do you think motivates you the most every time that you rise up in Aggiland?
Rise in Aggiland. That's a great question. It's a little-known fact that I was in Fort Jets for a month and a half. For a month and a half. let's get on to the most badass person possible. There are circumstances that pull me outside of the sport, and after that, I have some really relations with my fish buddies. I know totally don't appreciate it. So going through what something y'all go through in the sport, let me tell you, I'm very appreciative of it, and I'm very supportive of it. But it's that mentality of being willing to get as possible, but demonstrating our core values, the history and the stories told that we on this campus on a day-to-day basis. That really gets me to keep on thriving and growing and share that appreciation with fellow Aggies, former students, future students, and those who are fortunate to be a fine today.
For the minute 15 remaining, Chair Banks.
Sure, Max, there's a serious question this time. What is your interaction with your
Yes. So one of the things that I feel is vital, especially in stepping into any leadership role, whether it is a leadership role or I know it's not sexy word, follower role, in leadership theory class, and trust me, followership is sexy. People just don't use the term a lot. You have to be knowledgeable on the topic, and that includes reaching out to individuals who are or have participated in that capacity or similar capacity. As I mentioned before, I've worked extensively with Speaker Mendoza about this position because he's held this position in the past. Also talked extensively with Red Cross while we were traveling for different events in the city. We spent a good evening talking about it, and I've even gone to a especially a relations meeting that Betsy the LR committee for this past school year, and I hope to for relations with whoever comes to the relations coming up for this school year.
That completes the period of question and answer. If you any characters, so please step outside. Okay. Again, because there is only one candidate running uncontested, shall we, by general consent, elect John Ryan Rodriguez to Legislative Affairs Chair? Seeing none against, John Ryan Rodriguez is elected as the Legislative Affairs Chair for the 72nd session. Please rise.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me.
I state your name. I, John Ryan Rodriguez,
Do solemnly swear
swear
to faithfully execute to the best of my ability
to faithfully execute to the best of my ability
the duties of the office of Procedural
the duties of the office of Legislative Affairs
for the Texas A&M Student Government Association,
for the Texas A&M Student Government Association,
to uphold the honor of the same
to uphold the honor of the same
at all times, to protect the welfare of the student body,
at all times for the welfare of the student body,
and to promote good relations
and to promote good relations with the students
and those concerned
and those concerned.
Please be seated. We will now proceed to the election of the Community Relations Chair. Motion. Do I have any nominations, Chair Banks?
Sure, Ben, second, there's a nominated for also by this.
Saying a second, multiple seconds. Senator Regosta, do you accept this nomination? Do you have any further nominations for Community Relations Chair? Seeing none, the period of nominations has closed. Again, since this is uncontested, you get 5 minutes for presentation, 5 minutes for question and answer.
Hey! My name is Keith Bethel from Los Angeles. I'm agricultural leadership coordinator. All right. So I'm running for community relationships. So y'all can see here, I'm agricultural
school, Texas. I'm a first generation Aggie. 2020, woo. Getting my ring this weekend, big. And I competed also. We'll unpack that. Thank you. So my involvement here at the martial arts group on the 69th session, I actually led the I served on 70th, 71st, now 72nd. I also was vice president for the advocacy and policy for the Residential Housing Association, and I love my student. So just kind of showing my involvement here, I'm an off-campus librarian, and I was actually the past community relations chair. And some of the legislation I kind of like sponsored and like kind of passed was actually this past 71st session we passed the support of campus polling location resolution. So that's just saying that us, the student body, want to make it a is the fact that polling locations must be on campuses. This way, students have the ability to go and post their actually place their votes for different city, national, and stuff like that, elections. And then and so my plans for the community relations chair. So one, these are actually what I'm going to get on. So since I did serve as the last session's community relations chair, I had no idea what I was doing. If I'm being completely honest with you guys. Just kind of given to me and they said, good luck. So this whole session, I was really trying to figure out what I wanted to do, what the purpose of the position was, and thankfully after meeting with some multiple council members and the mayor, and actually having some feedback from the students or the senators, I kind of know where I want to go. So something that I want to be an ongoing project that the community relations chair can actually be working on is having a department focused strictly on all-campus housing for students. So the idea that I had is like creating that department, and so individuals who want to rent out their houses that would be registered with the university. This way, making them kind of keeping them to the standards so that they have to keep their houses. So students are living in like very run-down locations. Just kind of having the best experience. So I kept saying that keep so down, and then also having my committee members be really more involved. I feel like this past session that my committee members didn't have a big part in their positions. So what I would like for them to do is go to city council meetings, both for College Station and Ryan, collect information that's going on, bring it back, and work on legislation, both in Senate and then with the city to kind of benefit the community. And then by having also not only the city council meetings, but also having some advisory boards. So for like transportation, for the finance of the city, and also urban planning and stuff like that. And then to actually, Zach Keishan, he was served in the last session. He approached me and kind of got my excitement about this actually creating an anti-discrimination for all campus housing. So currently, right now, there is nothing in the Constitution of the city that people cannot be discriminated against because of their sexual orientation or things like that. So actually implementing that into the Constitution where people cannot be discriminated against. So I want to work on, and that's something I feel like is a tangible goal that I can achieve this session. That's pretty much it, guys.
We'll now enter a period of question and answer, starting with Senator McGill. Chair McGill. Excuse me.
That is true. Chair Brother, rules and regulations. Seeing as it is your birthday, will you be attending subcode?
Do you have any further questions for the presenter? Seeing none, the period of question and answer has concluded. Thank you. Please step outside. Again, as this is an uncontested race, shall we, by general consent, elect Gilberto Rivioso as your next community relations chair? Seeing none against, Gilberto Rivioso is elected as your next community relations chair. If you'll please rise. I state your name.
I, Gilberto Tomás Gabriel,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to faithfully execute to the best of my ability
to faithfully execute to the best of my ability
the duties of the office of Community Relations Chair
the duties of the office of Community Relations Chair
for the Texas A&M Student Government Association,
for the Texas A&M Student Government Association,
to uphold the honor of the same
to uphold the honor of the same
at all times, to protect the welfare of the student body,
at all times, to protect the welfare of the student body
and to promote good relations between students
and to promote good relations between students
and those concerned with the university.
and those concerned with the
Please be seated. That concludes the period of officer elections. With that, we'll move into committee reports, starting with Chair Brother.
Chair Berger, rules and regulations. So I know it's early in the session, but I do have a couple of things from our report. Just so y'all know, just kind of as a frame of reference for you, if you do have questions about parliamentary procedure, anything that pertains to the code or Robert's rules or anything procedural, please stand up when I say upon parliamentary inquiry. We understand it's a learning curve. Not everybody is at the same level right now, and we want everybody to be operating on the same level. We want you to feel comfortable with that. And so, if there's something you're not totally comfortable with, something you don't know a whole lot about, please feel free to stand up and ask about it. By the same token, there also is rising to a point of information. It's a little bit separate if you're more just concerned with or asking a question about something that doesn't apply to code or something that doesn't apply to parliamentary procedure per se, but it's still a question you have. Those are the two ways you can get that information. Also, I know we had some questions about why we're voting by ballot for exec. So when we do confirmations for executive cabinet or when we are electing any chair position, vote by ballot is something we do if there is at least one senator who requested it. And since there was a 2/3 vote required to confirm executive cabinet members, myself, Connor, and Eric felt that it just made the most sense clerically to vote by ballot. And so the three of us being the one or more senators, that's why we did that. And then if you were a little confused by the general consent voting that we did earlier, basically all that's saying is that there's no opposition. So if no one said no, whenever Eric said, shall we by general consent elect this individual as chair, whatever. If no one says no, then that means we're good to go. That's what that was, just if anyone was confused. Then also, not totally going to hard line for this meeting, but just in the future, we're going to try and stick to the dress code. So if you're confused on the dress code, it's available in the code. If you don't feel like looking through the code, just come ask me. Essentially, the main things are guys need to be in slacks, button down, tie, jacket. You're more than welcome to take off your jacket for comfort during the meeting, and you can loosen your tie, but please don't take off your tie or show up without a jacket. We won't be able to give you speaking privileges. And for ladies, basically, y'all know what business professional is for the most part, at least better than I do. If you're confused about it, definitely look at the code. The code does state you have to have a blazer to have speaking privileges. You don't have to be wearing it again. It's something you can remove for comfort, but honestly, like I would like to see you at least have it on your person, you know, on the back of your chair, on your backpack, whatever, just to have it around because it is on the code. Another thing is I'm not totally sure if it's going to be this semester or early next semester, but for the code, I do interview the selected nominees for judicial court for the new justices. And so I create a subcommittee to do those interviews with me. So just keep that on your radar. I'll be sending out an email if you're interested in that. Definitely feel free to reach out to me. It's open to anybody in Senate. You don't have to be a part of a specific committee. Just anybody who wants to do it, please reach out. And then also tonight, not just because it's Gilberto's birthday, but especially because it's Gilberto's birthday, we better have a huge turnout at Subco. Just in case you're new and haven't totally figured it out yet, Subco is immediately following our adjournment from this meeting tonight. We all head over to the chicken. Change, don't change, whatever you want. People are going to make fun of you if you change. I'm going to change because I'm a sweater and I can't. Your dry cleaning's really expensive. I got to get at least 2 wears out of this suit, okay? But I'll be at Subco. There's a handful of other chairs will be at Subco, and I really, really encourage you to come out. It's where a lot of senators really get to unwind and get to know each other, and it's an awesome experience to make this more than just another org that you're a part of when you show up to meetings. And it really makes it a much more enjoyable experience. And that's all I have.
Pro Temp Paul. Excuse me. Do you have any questions for Chair Brewer? Seeing none, thank you. Principal Paul.
Like I said, so it's been a busy last 2 weeks over at the Pro Temp's office. We formed the Ops Committee last week, and I named Suyas Gupta, who's not here because he had testament, as the Executive Director. So he will be handling all of everything that Ops does. If you have a question about what Ops does, ask me or Suyas. Now that we have all the chairs selected, IA will now begin to function properly. So all your absence requests and stuff like that will now be processed. And if you're not getting emails for any reason or stuff like that, please come up to me and I'll prepare that. And just if you have any questions in general, please feel free to come up and ask. If there's a problem with the seating assignment, something like that, I'd be more than happy to take care of that. So thank you.
We'll begin a period of questioning, starting with Chair Banks.
Chair Banks, Economic Affairs, what other numbers are on those sessions so far?
So we have we're still in the process of looking at I'll announce it.
Any further questions for Pro Temp Paul? Seeing that, thank you. Chair Harris.
Chair Harris, Finance. So just excited for this upcoming session, you guys. I will say that I did speak to Senator Walker right outside, and we are going to a meeting next week and hit the ground running. And like I said in my presentation, one thing I really want to focus on is getting more of you guys interested in finance. So if you want to know what finance community is about, come talk to me. It'll probably me, you, and Senator Walker. He is probably right now knows a little bit more about what that looks like. But definitely come and talk to us, and we'll make sure that you guys understand what finance is. The big thing is for as many people interested in it as possible. Like Joe Berger said, go to Subcode.
Any questions for Chair Harris? Seeing none, thank you. Chair Banks.
Chair Banks, I can verify how we set up. Actually, I will drop back. So just for a little bit of context for all new folks, the Academic Affairs Committee is the committee that deals with basically anything related to your classes. That's course registration, grades, syllabuses, absence policies, just anything you can think of that has any bearing directly on your classwork. That's what Academic Affairs does. We're the committee that has the most meeting with administration. So that's the type of thing that's up your alley. Please do come up and talk to me. I've already spoken to President Paul. He says that